they're safe. Like, I really don't care. Like,
well, that's what submission is. That's what submission is that you
down that I think everybody is at some point deserving to receive love and to be even into marriage if they do aspire for marriage.
I believe that society shapes how we view things and how we look at things in our life.
Make your own bed. That's basically what Kevin Samuels is saying. His delivery is what people kind of throws people off. But basically,
aggressive or like violent, like where I think toxic masculinity is
no offense to men, that they also get this idea that, you know, women are just going to take care of them and everything is going to be like easy.
A domestic violence shelter, and he brought her up to be, you know, a $25,000.
Hell yeah, you need to judge in dating. It is what it is. You know, you can't not judge people just because you feel bad about it. Like, you need to know.
As much as I love my daughter, there are some harsh realities and some things that her mother and I teach her in order to help her to understand.
Like, I'm sure everyone knows a woman that, you know, had to other dates all the time.
What is going on? Hello, welcome back to the CKQ podcast. I am Clement, the host. And before I introduce our lovely entire panelist, Danielle, do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe to this channel for more content like this. And if you've been here for a while and you've kept up with a lot of our shows, this is going to be the last show for a little bit of time. This is going to be a break show. So this is going to be the last show before we go on a break, take a little hiatus. So hit that like button, subscribe, call in if you can, and let's have a good show. Well, we have our usual, even though she's driving.
My name's Danielle. You can find me on Instagram at FlyNurseMomWife, and here on YouTube on the CKQ once we start that good.
Awesome. So, oh, look at that. And we got Chris.
Chris!
hi, sorry, I got stuck at work.
No worries. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. I like your hair. Look at that. Looks nice.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Looks good. Okay, so I want to start the panel off with a little reaction video. Okay. This is gonna be. We're gonna start off mild. Okay. Let's start off a little light, with a little reaction of someone highly controversial sometimes. Candace Owens. So do me a favor, mute your mics. Oh, that button mutes everyone's mics. Interesting. I just learned something. Okay. Fair use.
Everything the Democrats do and get crazy about has to do with something that they are trying to attain. They don't care about Black people. They don't care about Black history. They don't care about unity. In fact, Joe Biden actually said this. He said that Juneteenth is, quote, a day in which we remember the moral stain and the terrible toll that slavery took on the country and continues to take, end quote. How does it make you feel? Do you want to celebrate? At least he's being honest, right? Because that's it. That is exactly what this holiday is about. What this federal holiday is actually about is constantly reminding Black Americans that we are somehow different, that we are apart from the American dream, that this is not our country, that we should still be angry. You call me upon, well, I'm calling you upon if you thought this was a good holiday. If you thought this was about anything more than the Democrats trying to keep us in a perpetual state of anger and fear.
Well, that was fun. What do you think?
I agree. I
Yeah.
Agree. I'm echoing.
Are you?
So let me check my audio.
Maybe it might. Yeah, it might be on your side. Oh boy, Candace Owens. Damn straight, Candace Owens, man. Candace Owens. She's great. She's
right?
great. Yeah, you sound good.
Okay.
You're not echoing to yourself?
Huh?
Are you echoing to yourself?
Possibly. You're not hearing an echo? Just me?
Just you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I like her a lot. I think, especially what she said there, I agree with. I think oftentimes, like,
What's going on, Arshawn?
Hi. They like constantly push this like rhetoric that we were oppressed and we are still oppressed pretty much to the same extent.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's gotten to the point where it's like we can't move past it and just assimilate, right? And then there's also this weird idea where if you're proud to be an American as a Black person, it's like
self-hate.
Yeah, it's very weird. So yeah, I completely agree with her. I think that they continuously push it because I think they have to keep, in order for them to, in my opinion, in order for Democrats to continue getting votes from minority populations, they have to keep them in their feelings. They have to keep them angry and upset about things that are completely out of their control, right? And that's how you're going to get them to vote illogically. Because I really don't think that most Black people are as liberal as they vote. Like a lot of the things that they say and do are actually more so on the conservative side. They vote Democrat.
Yeah.
And I think part of it is just that anger that's literally being like fed to us. It's not even like naturally in us. It's just constantly like a reminder, like you should hate everything because everything hates you.
I think it's also the idea of, I actually had a conversation about this with one of my coworkers because he was wondering, like, you know, not in some kind of messed up way, but like, did you vote Democrat? Like when I was younger, yeah, I used to. He's like, yeah, because I always noticed like most Black people just voted Democrat, and he was asking me like, why is that? And I told him like, you know, growing up, all I knew was that the Republicans were bad, the Democrats are good, and if you vote Republican, then you essentially just want slavery back. Like that's really just what it was told to me as a kid. So it was almost like always vote Democrat. Democrats the good party. Democrats where you want to be. So it was just interesting to, like, I want to say when I started reevaluating my life and wanted to see where I would like to take it, and finding also different people. Candace Owens was one of them, Jordan Peterson, and the whole Ben Shapiro, like all of them, the whole crew, even Larry Elder, you know, like another good one. All of them just kind of like made me think like I align a lot more with that than I do with the Democratic like party. Like it's kind of crazy. Sorry about that. Yeah, and it just made me just start reevaluating everything that I've always just grew up with. Like maybe I don't actually agree with this stuff. Maybe I was just doing it just because for doing its sake. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I think it hit me. I think it was like 2016. I was a sophomore in college. And I was saying it with my friends, and he was like, "Watch this." And it was this meeting that they were having when Trump was in office, and he was saying like Black unemployment levels are at the lowest they've ever been since like 60 years ago. Hey, Dr. John.
Hey, what's happening?
And
what up, Jamarcus Cates? Happy belated Father's Day.
Oh yeah, happy Father's Day.
Oh my God, I feel so honored.
Stop it.
I actually like being a dad.
You're a good one.
Yeah, I love the little fuckers. I love them. They eat like fucking golly, man, boys.
Well, they're growing. This is their time. They're going to devour everything and anything in sight.
Yeah. I mean, daddy, daddy, ain't you hungry too? No. Yeah. Then they just break. Hey, we are. I mean, I'm starving.
What's up, Alex? Sorry, Chris, what were you saying?
Oh yes. So basically, he had announced that Black unemployment levels were at the lowest they've ever been, and there was like this Black, like, committee basically, and none of them stood up and clapped. Like they were like protesting him, and I was like, no way! Like it blew my mind. And those were like the Democrats, you know?
Yeah,
Black.
It's like this is what you wanted.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't think I'm a Democrat anymore. Like after that, I was like, show me more, show me more. And I got red pilled that day.
Red pill.
I'm never going
Let's go. Yeah. Okay. So we're actually gonna do another quick reaction.
Another.
I
missed the reaction.
You missed the reaction, my man. You missed the reaction.
Oh Jesus!
It's okay, man. It's okay. Not sometimes you're gonna be a slacker. Some days you're gonna be a slacker. It's okay, man. I'm not judging.
Ian, and you already reacting. Yo, over hyper reacting. What? Right.
Okay. This is a popular video going all over Black YouTube. All right. So fair use.
Nobody wants y'all ass no more.
What do you think of it? What do you think of that? Yeah.
Take your single ass on back to the house, nigga. That's what you wanted. When you keep, let me tell you something about a man, bro. We want y'all. We don't need y'all. We should need y'all. We do need y'all. But if you just keep being reject, this, I want this one, and we can't get nothing what we want, fuck it. Cool. I told you, hooker stock is going up. Hooker stock is going up. Hooker stock, girls who want sugar daddies, little sugar babies, people who just want a transactional relationship, that shit is going up with no strings attached or with understood strings. This for that. Quid pro quo. I pay these bills, you give me these things. Quid
Very true.
Pro quo. And I don't have to have no headaches. The only thing I ask, the only rules we have is that you sleep with just me and I'll sleep with just you. That's it. Other than that, I don't give a fuck who you date. I don't care who you kiss on. Well, I kind of do care who you kiss on, but I don't care if you go out on a date with somebody. I don't care if you don't have sex with.
I think it might still be hard to even get that kind. I think the issue right now is
that's easy.
Listen. I think the issue right now is there's a simple acknowledgement of what a man wants. I think a lot of these women just don't want to have to acknowledge what a man wants.
They don't want to fucking give what the motherfucker want.
Correct. Isn't it? And it's like
boys out here fooling their ass online with these dumbass talking about some we want this. Nah, nigga, y'all want that. You niggas specifically want that. Quit speaking for the rest of us. Because the rest of us, when it boils down to it, I'm gonna be more in tune with what a nigga want. Because I'm from that generation where the shit was a standard across the fucking board. That standard was the way fucking we were not. Everybody keeps saying that that's a social construct. No, nigga, that's the way the fucking world was. We was learning this shit from motherfucking people where the shit was passed down from generation to generation. This new shit, this new way of thinking, because you got access to this technology and these new kids think differently, they have incorporated some shit that don't work with evolution. Who said the shit was bad in the 50s? You keep talking, this ain't the 1950s anymore. No, them motherfuckers stayed married. They knew who their baby daddy was. Because that was their husband. Because her baby daddy was the motherfucker she married. You were shamed if you had a baby outside of marriage. Shamed. If you got pregnant, you couldn't go to the high school during the day no more. Because you was a damn disruption. And they understood that how a child behaves can affect other children. So you weren't finna bring your big belly ass. Yeah, because you fucking, obviously. So now the other girl's gonna be like, well, what is it like? They know you fucking, so they gonna come to you for advice.
That's
now,
true.
Okay, what kind of advice can a fucking pregnant 15-year-old give a motherfucker other than don't let him fuck you, girl?
Horrible advice. Horrible.
Apparently, she don't know. That's like Ray Charles telling the motherfucker which side of the street he needs to be on.
Or she's with someone toxic, she'll tell you.
Talking to Stevie Wonder. Let's go this way. I think it's this way. I heard crickets yesterday over that side. What the fuck? He over here twisted the motherfucker's hands. Yep, this is the bitch that was on the corner yesterday. We're on the right side, Stevie. Come on, man.
Filling up a stop sign.
I'm gonna get canceled for that joke. He's picking on blind people now. He's terrible. Hold his dissertation. Don't let him publish.
I wanna throw this one in there real quick because he did a reaction and read the comments on it.
I wish I could hear it.
It'll make you feel better. Went to a singles mixer and only women showed up. Part 2. In the first part, I read comments from men reacting to the situation. In this video, I'm going to read comments from women reacting to this situation. You're not going to believe what they have to say about this viral video. First, check out this video one more time.
Went to a singles mixer and only women showed up.
So the story is this was a singles mixer, but only women showed up. Now, let's check out some of these comments from women reacting to the situation. This commenter says, the single men too busy listening to alpha male podcasts. I don't know what they're talking about, but hopefully they're talking about the coffee pot. Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better. Hit that subscribe button, man. Help me get to 100K. This female commenter says, this tells you everything you need to know. With the face palm. Now, guys, I'm assuming like the more I read these comments, you're going to kind of catch where these women are going with this, right? They're putting the blame on you. And me too, because I'm black. Next commenter says, stop fishing in a small pond when the ocean awaits you. So we have a lady who was encouraging women to open up their options, right? Because that was the problem with the mixer, is that it was only open to black men. This female commenter says, a Dusty put this together promising black love. Any responsible event planner would have canceled the event if no men registered. This female commenter says, I'm side-eyeing the event planner. Oh yeah, blame the event planner. Don't blame the mindset of modern women because that requires accountability and you don't like that coffee. Put that coffee down.
Thoughts so far?
I saw that video. What's up, everybody? First of all,
How you
how
doing?
y'all doing? I miss y'all. Now, I saw the video. Yes, I cracked up laughing. I spit up what I was drinking because
I cracked up when I saw.
in my mind, I'm not no event planner or nothing that crap. That's just assuming. We're not working on assuming. On the reality, I saw that as an interpretation of women over 45, over 50, thinking they still got it.
Shit.
And that's the outcome. That whole video showed the outcome of a lot of women over a certain age that thought they had time or they could still do it. And that's the proof that they can't.
Oof.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Because I'm not going to lie, some of them did look attractive.
Yeah.
By sight. But if you can't even get at least half of black men there, ooh, that says a lot.
You can't even get the fat nigga to show up, bro.
I mean, I think I saw a man there. He was the waiter, but he was still a man. I think
he was probably gay.
Probably. I don't know. I don't know. Everyone keeps saying not to look at the event planner, but why not look at the event planner though?
Because you're always looking for diversion to blame somebody other than self.
Bro, go ahead, Chris. Go ahead. Then I'm gonna address that. So hold on to that CKQ. Don't go nowhere. I'm gonna tackle that directly.
Okay.
I don't have anything deep to say, but like, I don't really think people really use event planners really that much anymore. Like, there's meetup.com. Like, this could have been something I was just like put up on Facebook or something, and there's like, show up on this day at this time, singles mixer. So to say like someone should have canceled it just because a bunch of like men didn't show up, I think that is kind of them shifting the blame. But it would have been kind of funny if the event planner purposely didn't cancel it because men didn't sign up. That's another.
Just to stick it to the women. Like, damn. That's harsh.
Now I'm finna tackle CK.
Okay, let's hear it.
All right, so do you know when you're a club owner, you make your money at the bar, not at the door?
Correct.
If you're a club owner and you thinking you going in there doing your damn financials on the door, you're an idiot. You got a fucking fire code. The fire code alone won't let you make a profit. You got to be selling and getting motherfuckers drunk. So there's this one marketing thing that used to work like a motherfucker that no longer works, and you don't hear club owners talking about that shit at all. They do other shit. Ladies' night, nigga. Men buy the drinks. All you gotta do is say ladies get in free till midnight. The goddamn line would be out the fucking door. And the men would be there at 12:30 in their best attire in that goddamn line, begging to get in that bitch. But not ladies free after them, give a fuck. Ain't anybody trying to talk to them stuck up hoes that weird ass thinking. That's what you hear now. Ain't nobody trying to hear what a bitch make. I ain't trying to hear all that. That's what you hear mumbling now. You don't need no damn event plan. You never, if you said women was gonna fucking be there.
Very true. That's fair. That's very true. Yeah, you're right.
But what increased, nigga? The goddamn strip clubs be packed every motherfucking weekend.
That's so crazy to me. That's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. Like the fact that men would much rather go and spend their money on a woman that they know they're not gonna be able to sleep with.
They can't sleep with that motherfucker. What you mean?
At a strip club?
It depends on your pockets.
But
bro, it depends on listen here. I know y'all probably got friends that's some strippers, bro. Listen, I ain't talking about them if but they are not in the motherfucking majority. Okay? They on the outside of the bell curve. But I always said that stripping is a motherfucking undercover hole, and you can say what you want to say. Because I know the platinum room, the champagne room, that shit is real. You can't. Here's the rule: there's no touching when they're looking. Now you can pay her ass a little tippy, and you can touch all you want to. And if you pay $300 for the champagne room,
Doc, you would know more about strip clubs than mine because I've only been at 2 in my life, and it was only because I was working. Other than that, I really can't stand strip clubs. But just a side note, the only thing that I know currently within the last 5 years, well, actually 5 years, what has replaced the strip clubs have been the OnlyFans, of course. But what also is a competition with it, so I don't get off topic, is the swing parties. Because brothers realize, wait a minute, all I got to spend is $50, bring my own liquor, and I can actually sleep with these chicks, all the chicks I want for 8 hours? Man, fuck them strip clubs, man.
Do you have to bring a lady with you, Carl?
No, you don't. No,
Damn,
you don't.
The ones in Germany was like $100.
Yeah.
It was free if you brought somebody else, but it was $100 if you came to sing by yourself.
Yeah, but it's not like it's impossible for a single guy wanting to get his nut up and just walk in and, here's $100 and, can I borrow your wife for a minute? Sure, okay. Okay.
You don't mind if I watch, do you?
Hey, it's no problem. It's a different freedom. Rather it's a black thing or black and white and mix. I mean, there's so many clubs and places and hidden, but it goes down. But I'm only saying that because
that's crazy.
When you said women have options, in reality they don't, and this is what the video depict. This is what the OnlyFans, the strip clubs, the swing party. There is no option.
No.
Because we are a necessity. We're a necessity.
Yep.
No matter how much you push to make us an option, at the end of the day,
we need.
Because I just said this earlier, because I was getting ragged on by some chick on a live, and I said to her, I said, listen, when I turn 65, 70, I can have erectile dysfunction, but I still have resources and money.
Mm-hmm.
You turn 60, 65, you can't have children. Your coochie ain't gonna be the same as it was when it was 30. You practically done.
Like, no, you done.
Guys ain't chasing. We love Patti LaBelle, but we're not jerking off to niggas ain't trying to get with Dionne Warwick, Patti LaBelle. As much as we love these women, but that's it.
Your day has went. It's coming on.
That's it. So
that's a shame.
You don't see no motherfuckers talking about like, hey, granny, let me pay your rent, mama. What's happening? No, you don't see that shit.
The only time you see dudes trying to get at the older women, if you notice, they're looking for the sugar mama, the PlayStation, the Jordans, or something like that. But that's a transactional relationship. Not, I want to marry you and live together and so on and so forth. That's not common. We know it. So why are they being tricked to believe otherwise?
Here we go. This is going to be a good one right here.
Earlier, you say a lot of your content that you may put out may get, some backlash from women in response to how you come across or oppose an opinion to what they think is right. And it's a lot of backlash with that. How do you think it should be responded to? Do you feel like the message should be changed?
Ain't nobody think about know what the hell a damn woman is talking about.
When you were speaking to us,
that's essentially what you were saying. Nobody cares.
I've been saying that for years. At the end of the day, nobody cares. I mean, because at the end of the day,
but you know what? Let me push back on that a little bit. Okay.
Push on back and
let me push back on that a little bit.
Push.
Because I think that's something that we're getting wrong in this generation. Because we keep feeling this fire of women don't know what the hell they're doing, right? That's we know that. That's a standard. Women don't know what they're doing. So if men suddenly start saying like, all right, screw them, let them do their own thing. I think women have much bigger egos than men do sometimes. Because wrong and strong was not a man thing. That's a woman thing. So I think they will die on that hill faster than a man would.
Yeah, basically.
So I think it's just a bad idea to just keep telling men like to keep walking their own way.
Men or women?
Men. But men can't. This is the thing I've said over and over. Men cannot influence women, but women can influence the world. Men cannot really, other than thinking logic without emotion, other than having brawn and strength and resource, you really can't compete against 20,000, 50,000 strong-ass women that all think they can replace you.
But
yeah,
you don't have to compete.
Correct.
We didn't ask for the competition. It just thrown at you.
Yeah.
And I think the problem is that we're trying to compete. I think that's the problem.
Don't look like nobody trying to compete now.
No.
What do you mean? What do you mean? It's a whole bunch of men are complaining. Men are competing the same way women compete, by complaining. Women complain.
Understand that one because
men shouldn't be complaining. We say something and then our action should be doing the rest.
I don't see how niggas could be. This is what I don't get. Man.
I don't think it's complaining. I think it's checking, but that's a losing battle.
How the fuck can you be complaining, nigga, when you're the scarce product? What the fuck? That means you in the high demand. If you could have a dollar placed on you, the woman would be worthless and the man would be worth more money. Creates value. There's 2 times, 3 times the amount of motherfucking women it is men. It's way more women than men, which means the woman got to have her fucking A game up.
True.
I goddamn got options. You don't have options. Your options are limited.
I understand what you're talking about. Your point of view, but you're also looking at an entire different generation of men that grew up with the women are the monolith. You as the man come second. You as the man, your ideas don't really matter that much. You are not as strong as generation. So what I'm saying is that's why it's everyone in that position is not good. Nice to see you again. You make it out of that tunnel, Danielle.
Huh?
You made it out of the tunnel or whatever happened.
Yeah, I don't know what my phone had got hot and it shut everything down.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but hi everybody. Do I hear you? What?
I was trying to understand you before I respond, but I think what you're saying is that we don't have options.
No. I'm saying we do have options, but we need to start approaching the market as in not we have options, but we need to be more goal oriented. Right now, everyone is thinking, oh, I have so many options. Like women think I have a lot of options. That's clearly wrong. Men think I have a lot of options. I mean, actually, both sides do have a decent amount of options to sleep with. It benefits the man more than it does the woman.
Options to sleep with. That's universal. But I'm trying to dissect because remember, I'm still on different mindsets. Okay, the different mindsets of men that exist versus the different mindset of women that exists.
Okay,
you can't lump us all as the same men, women, because the dude that plays golf 3 times a week, his mindset is different than Jamal and Daquan on the corner singing rocks and shit. It's not the same.
A man that's serious about a woman, do you think she will now start moving the way he wants her to move? if he's serious about her and shows that.
Not
Which
necessarily.
which man you're talking about though?
And then which woman are you talking about?
Yeah.
Think about it. Just because.
Do you think most? Okay, you know what? Let me place this question to you, John.
Okay.
Do you think most women will? Do you think most women that you get with are going to move the way that you want them to move?
I mean, most women that I get with, yeah, they'll move. They'll move it.
They can move how you want them to move, right? Not they're not just going to move all willy nilly. Correct. So
But
what I'm saying is,
how you pose that question though, because that's gonna come from the type woman that I'm gonna go after, and then because I'm gonna go after that type woman, she's gonna already be agreeable.
Yeah, because a 30-year-old woman and a 40-year-old woman is going to move different. So the 30-year-old might be a little bit more combative with Jay, as opposed to the 40-year-old that might be more cooperative.
Nah, I like them young. I like younger than that. It's gonna be their mindset. That's what I go.
That's what I'm saying. So that is a loaded question in a way, because no matter how you try to discuss it, you cannot get around without tripping over yourself the different mindsets of men and the different mindsets of women. And that was the best example I can give.
I mean,
Nowadays,
making a very valid.
Right.
Any days that Carl is making a very valid point. Here's a really good example to what Carl is saying. If you got a woman who has a fixed mindset,
okay,
she's not growth oriented whatsoever. She
ain't trying to change.
That where she is all where she ever gonna be.
She's broken.
Now she get with somebody and I fuck around and I slip up and let that in my house because she tricked me. She got my ass. She caught me slipping, or I got goo-eyed and I wasn't really paying attention. Oh shit! That shit right there can be devastating for me. Because a growth mindset and a fixed mindset, them some bitches, they clash off the fucking rip. One of the things gonna happen. She either gonna clash with you and start getting into your pockets real hard, right? Because that growth shit is gonna rub off on her. It's gonna rub off on her. But guess who? She don't know how to grow. She's never had a growth mindset. The only way she know how to grow is to get you to fork out money into different types of things, or to make her feel better about who she is. Because oftentimes a fixed mindset person also comes with all kinds of motherfucking low self-esteem, fucking everything. There's a reason that they feel like they can never be nowhere than where they are right now, right? So that person would be that would just absolutely terrible, detrimental, right? So you can't ever, I don't give a fuck what you do, what you say, you can't ever get that person to switch their mindset unless you do, like, you're gonna have to really do a deep dive and talk to her and get with, like, almost like you're doing therapy with this motherfucker. And that's just you know how hard a fucking relationship would be?
That's like going to college.
Person's damn mindset, bro. You don't even look at her as a fucking girlfriend no more. You look at her as a goddamn client. Like, you take notes, you comparing shit, you looking in different damn
spreadsheets, charts,
and shit. You charting the behavior, seeing how much. Well, she improved 3 points this week. We're making progress.
You'll be reading every book that exists, every article exists on relationships.
When all you had to do was pick somebody who, when you should have been paying more attention to the mindset.
Confidence is two ways, right? You have good confidence and bad confidence.
Yeah, I've heard that.
The good confidence is the one that knows, I know I got the body, I know I got that good shit, but I'm not trying to step on your toes. And then you got the bad one that says, I know I'm confident and I'm going to use it to manipulate you and take down what you earned, or shall I say, like he said, trickery, fakeness, whatever actress job you're on that moment. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You could play damsel in distress. You could play thug, hold you down. You could go any direction and then come back out of character and be like, I was just playing.
Yeah.
And that,
I put,
go ahead, bro.
I put this a little bit more on the men.
Huh?
I put this a little bit more on the men, in my opinion.
I mean, you could put it more on the men.
Yeah,
But
because women ain't gonna change. Women are always just gonna be wrong and strong. Men are gonna have to show them, hey, this is like you're either gonna die on this hill or follow my way, and then just start going your way.
or
So
you
they're
can
either
start looking to the women who are agreeable, who are what you fucking looking for.
the
This world is big, bruh.
the small amount.
Get your fucking child.
I think what I'm saying is I think the Western ideology is plaguing the entire world. Like feminism is it's literally a cancer, just taken everywhere.
Yep, it is.
Well, wait a minute. When you say blame the men on what? For not having changes made?
Blame the men as in the men are the ones that have to make the change. Men are the ones that are allowing everything to go the way they are going. Like we've got to this point because men have allowed women to kind of have everything the way they want to have.
But this is why I asked that specific question, because you do realize men have been infiltrated for the last 10, 12 years.
Meaning?
Trannies, let me see, metrosexual males, the simps, the dollar store guys. There's a lot of guys that's going along with the program of these women that makes it harder for the strong men that still believe in structure, value, legacy to be like, yo, what the fuck you doing? We doing roles here. You got to know your role. I know mine, and let it play out. You're not gonna replace me. You know what we doing here? Your dick bigger than mine? No, we're not doing that. But you got the guy that's saying, listen, I don't care who makes the bread. As long as I get my PlayStation and my Jordans, that's all that matters.
And every time I hear one of the motherfuckers say something, it pisses me off so goddamn bad. Every time I hear one of the motherfuckers say, well, I don't mind. I'm glad I get to spend have maternity leave with my child. Bitch, go work, nigga. That woman don't need you there. Nigga, go make some money, nigga. No,
you gotta remember, there was a time.
You can see that fucking kid when you get off from work, fool.
Prior to 85, remember, it was unheard of that a man really stayed home and played house mom.
That was unheard of.
Raising the kids, cleaning, cooking, and all of that while the women went out to work.
Even in the 90s, wasn't nobody trying to do that shit.
No.
Niggas
and all of a sudden,
you did that shit, or what?
All of a sudden now it became normal. It's okay.
Yeah.
And I don't want to disparage what you're saying, brother, but at the same time, I can't put it back on the men. I just thought about it because what about all these other races of men that exist around us that's not taking that shit? Chinese, Japanese, the Mexicans, come on.
Arabs.
No other culture. No other culture got what we got as a problem.
None. Only us.
Okay.
Only
and
us.
they exist amongst us, around us, next door to us, and we're like, so what? That's them. That ain't me. Black women ain't not trying to be like that Mexican woman, like that Arab woman, like the Honduras woman. They're not trying to be that. Their mind is made up. And we cannot, how you say, like I said, we got brawn. We can't even fight against that because there's too many of them now infiltrated. Like you said, they already got the cancer.
Yeah.
How you going to come back from that?
Ain't no chemo for that shit.
Come on.
I'm trying to, the chemotherapy would be for them to do some observing of what's going on and looking around, and then some introspection as to what are they doing that's helping push this. Like, you know, am I agreeable? Am I hard for a man to get along with? Like, should I have put more of an emphasis on finding someone rather than working for 20 years and then trying to find someone? Yeah, bitch, you should have. Yeah. Yeah.
Personally, I'm not looking to blame men, women, or whatever. I'm not even looking for responsibility or accountability. I'm looking at just a logical view of those people that claim, and I gotta say this, claim that they're a parent. They care about their kids. Their kids is their world and their life. Well, guess what? That 2-year-old, that 1-month-old, or even the child that was born yesterday, you know what they're gonna raise up to believe? I don't know if my daddy is my mommy or my mommy's my daddy.
Yeah.
Because it's all the same.
Yep. And it's so relative.
You think Kyle Jenner was something?
Instagram. Have you seen that video on Instagram where it was a little black boy was brushing his mom's hair, but she was white, and he was brushing it, and he was like, "Yeah, when I grow up, I'm gonna be a daddy," and she was like, "You don't have to be a daddy."
You went muted. You muted yourself, Unique.
You muted yourself.
Oh.
There you go.
Pick up the part where she started brainwashing him. Start right there.
He was like, "You don't have to be a daddy. You could be, you know, you don't have to be a daddy when you grow up." He was like, "Oh, so I could be a mommy just like you because y'all love you. You're my best friend." Keep brushing her hair. He's like, "Yeah."
See what I'm saying, bro? See what I'm saying? And there's no laws that protect this child, this innocent fucking mind, this developing brain. No laws that protects that brain. That the shit that she's saying out her mouth should be considered harmful in a form of mental child abuse, bro.
By 8 years old, I don't want a dick no more. I want a pussy. How the fuck you learn that shit?
By the time they're 19, they want something else.
What are you doing? Come on. I'm sorry.
I know somebody who has thought they have been, you know, gay their whole life. They probably only have been with one man, and that's when they was young. When they was young, they were pressured to be with, you know, the opposite sex. And all of a sudden, she hit a certain age, and them hormones turned on around a man. She had been with women mostly all her life, and
sexually frustrated.
All of a sudden, some young, you know, boy started like her, and all of a sudden it just changed her mind, and
just like that.
Just like amazing. Like I've known this person to be that way, and all of a sudden, them hormones kick in, and it's like, and now.
And I know what you're talking about. Crazy. Me and Yannick about 1.5 years ago, damn near fell out. The argument was so fucking heavy, right? I said, man, that shit is the result of trauma. And if the right nigga come along with the right finesse,
and I was like, about her, no, she already tried. The man when he was 18, and that was
gonna drop them motherfucking drawers like a goddamn pancakes on the floor.
And that's the same person that come. Like, yo,
and then this year she tells me, "Yo, wake up!" I'm like, "What? What you talking about?"
I did wake you up out your sleep for that shit.
I said, "What the fuck are you talking about? Who fucking? You know the girl I was telling you about that was for fucking years?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I told you that motherfucker, the right nigga come through, who got that perfect balance between manliness and softness. Like when you deal with a woman who's been dealing with women." You can't be in a hurry. You can't be all that. You can't treat them like everybody else. You treat them special, caress them, finesse them. Shit. And once you off in there,
listen, I'm still in shock of how many studs are still secretly sleeping with men.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So imagine it's like
But I
you
told y'all
thinking that that's what you are, and then but your natural hormones kick in. Like, no,
The numbers is climbing. I'm looking at all the mental health issues, not just from the babies that's not born yet, but even like I said, from the mothers and fathers. Because remember now, you have daughters that are growing up thinking their father is their husband, the pinnacle. Okay, if you're not like my daddy, then I can't fuck with you. You have sons that became the mother's husband, cock blocking him from ever having a woman, and no woman is good enough, da da da. It is crazier now than it was 5 years, 10 years ago, only because we are accepting it as normal. That's the only thing. When we gonna stop accepting things as normal? I don't mind upgrading and changes and doing things better, but when it's at this cost, nah, man, y'all gotta cancel that shit. I
See, I think that's also where it gets tough because
there's no more tough love. Everything is
there's no more tough love, but also, again, I think men have to be the one to say no because women are too agreeable to say no to that.
Oh, so you mean go on a dick strike?
You can go on a dick strike, yeah. Actually, honestly, it probably would work.
No,
if men
because
actually
they got the rose. They got the rose. That's it.
Right. You're saying men are too undisciplined to not stick their dick in a hole. Right. Got
Actually, yeah. No, actually, believe it or not, men are more disciplined now than it was before.
Yeah.
Men are more disciplined today to say no to pussy than 10, 20 years ago.
Yeah, because they saying yes to men.
I didn't say that, but okay.
I mean, you know what? I be listening, bro. Like my 12-year-olds be putting me on game on what's going on at their age in their school, bro. It is. Do you fucking know?
I do. I've talked to a teacher friend of mine, and she was saying how a lot of times she has to like smack these little boys to like stop trying to hump each other. It's kind of like, the hell? And this is yeah. She has to like. She's like, yeah. What are you guys doing? She has to like stop them. Like, what the hell are you guys doing?
When we was growing up, bro,
humping each other.
What kind of ass whooping you would get trying to motherfucking peep over in my stall, nigga?
Yeah.
And I come out that motherfucking butt ass naked and tear your ass up. You hear me? Not no more. They be, how big is yours? What? Let me see it. What? Make your heart want to see. Like, what? Y'all, what? That's a thing, nigga? Yeah. Okay, let me tell you something. Look boy, goddamn, you smack the hell out of
sound effect.
And I don't care if you get suspended, nigga, smack his ass. Smack him right in his fucking face. I mean, you try to crack that nigga jaw, and if it's something in there to hit him with that motherfucker. I'll help you deal with the consequences, nigga. We will get through this. But nah, not in my watch. You crazy as hell.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. I'm just saying that the deck is stacked against us because we, and when I say we, majority of the men that are still about structure, discipline, and maturity and so forth, old-fashioned values, what have you, they're not allowed to demonstrate that no more. In other words, we're restricted. So men are not allowed to be men anymore. It's either conform to what we want or what exercise your like isolate you, on that island by yourself type thing. I can't picture a Million Man March again where, okay, we are going to step up and we're going to be fathers and we're going to be in the house. I can't see that because, like you said, there's going to be the infiltrators, the gay guys, the tranny. There's going to be a whole slew of people that's going to make sure that don't happen.
But
yeah,
I think I just don't understand why though.
But we know it's needed though.
It's definitely needed, but I think there's far too many men trying to compete with each other in every aspect to be able to come together to realize like men aren't coming together anymore, especially in the Black community. Men are just
They almost did, and you see what happened with that sabbatical for over the last 2-3 years. It was called Kevin Samuels. You see what happened, right?
What happened? A lot of men came together and actually started trying to better themselves.
When motherfuckers started talking that Kevin Samuels shit, chicks was like, "You ain't getting no pussy until you get that nigga out your mind."
Fine.
Yeah.
You know what that means? Then that means that man is hell no. That means that man is still going to get his life together and actually pick a more valuable option, a more agreeable woman, like you said.
We're waiting for a leader, basically, and that was the first time in how many years, guys, that you saw a man speaking up on behalf of men against, certain tyranny of certain types of women.
True.
Before Kevin Samuels, you didn't hear nobody talk. I mean, what you gonna say, Dr. Phil? What's his Steve Harvey?
There was no one.
Exactly. There was nobody because they was afraid. It's just like any celebrity. I'm afraid to speak out on certain issues because my endorsements are in jeopardy. My money. No, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut, man. My opinion. Come on. There's not too many people that was out there talking about George Floyd and all that shit because they knew, wait a minute. Certain comedians ain't talking about the whole Monique and DL Hughley. You out your damn mind. I ain't getting involved with that. Right, wrong, and different because self-preservation, my money, well, how it benefits me. That's the mindset.
Because that 50% shit has been allowed to exist. That going half that's been allowed to exist.
Exactly.
But it's not even about going half though. Like this goes beyond just going half. This speaks more to the fact that it sounds like just men in general are going to stand only for themselves and only for what they believe in, not for anything bigger than themselves.
Until we get a leader.
So we're all gonna we just wait.
We're waiting.
Here's the thing, bro. Do you know how this shit's supposed to go, Clement?
No, please educate me.
There's been a fucking cycle that's introduced in this world since the beginning of time, and everybody wants to go against that motherfucker. The knowledge that a young man's supposed to get comes from the fucking older man in the house. That's where that fucking shit come from. So when the women start kicking that motherfucker out, they didn't have no knowledge to pass on. Because you can't teach a man how to be. You can't teach a boy how to be a man because you ain't never fucking been one.
But we're gonna teach him the feminine energy.
Generation of fucking dudes who don't have man values. You have woman values.
Feminine energy. Wait a minute, hold up. Now you get a chance to be the man we want you to be instead of the man you should have been.
Exactly. Which is an agreeable ass dude. You can raise a motherfucking gentleman all day, but you raising a simp. And when he have to put his fucking foot down, it's gonna come across combative.
I challenge a lot of people to that question. Ladies, you have a son. Would you be okay if your son went out there, got an education, making $100,000 a year, and sponsor $30,000 a year of his money to a woman that's not his wife?
Hell no, they gonna say
you wouldn't be happy with that. However, you expect that from the men that you're fucking. Just think about it. The women expect men to provide wife benefits under a girlfriend umbrella. But you won't allow your son, 18 and 25, to do that with no chick. Ain't no woman out here telling her son to go out there, yeah, you better spend money on her if you want to keep her, da-da-da-da. No, you teaching him the opposite. Don't let her use you.
Yep.
Don't get her pregnant so she can trap you. You know why? Because now you're taking away money from me. I'm the mother. If he succeed, I'm supposed to get that $30,000 a year, nigga.
Which brings me to my next point.
Red Lipstick, if you have some time, click the link at the top of the chat. Join the chat. Yep.
Which brings me to my next point. When you a single woman, quit, like, that child needs a balanced home. Regroup, get yourself together, and stop marrying your fucking son. Your son don't deserve a wife from you. He deserves a fucking mother. He needs you to be a mother, not a best friend. He needs a leader. If you're gonna be the man and the woman, be a correct one, and get guidance from a male, a significant male in your life, or a damn father, or a brother, or somebody, right? But stop keeping them damn boys around your fucking house because you lonely as fuck. Oh, I don't have time to date. I just wanna raise my son. Nigga, you need to date. What the fuck you mean? How happy I am, I'm a stepchild.
Let's rewind a little bit, because I want to go back to something that you guys were talking about. I want to hop on this point a little bit, because you said if once a woman is around a man that she is interested in, no matter how much of a butch stud she is, she's instantly going to revert back to her nature. Correct?
She is subject at any time to relapse.
That's what I'm talking about. I like the way he put it.
Relapse.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, revert back to her.
If you took a poll right now, the average black man, ask him a simple question: how many women have you slept with that were studs? You'll see that there's a growing number of men that would say, yo, man, yeah, I've done it at least once or twice. Now you multiply 50,000 motherfuckers with once or twice, that's a lot of studs. That's a lot of relapse.
But that's fine. That's fine. Because my main point is that I'm saying is that we're talking about the boys that grew up without fathers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the same thing. If a boy is around a man, he instantly recognizes how he's supposed to be moving. He can see it. He can instantly feel it himself. That's how I'm supposed to be moving. He innately knows what's wrong. But if we're not having groups of men anymore, if that's not happening anymore, then these young boys are not going to know and understand how to move.
No, because between the ages of 8 and 15, mama took you with her when she got her hair and nails done. So you was starting to learn how to get your pedicure and manicure right there in the same next to her. So guess what happens when you become 26 and 30? Mr. Metrosexual. Come on.
What does that mean? You don't think that a man like that can still see, know, and understand what a man is?
No.
How? He never saw it. What do you mean? You got to see it.
He went to the bar. Okay, let me help you out. He went to the barber shop that his mother took him to.
Okay.
Hopefully she wasn't smashing the barber. Okay. But he never got a chance to be around the men talks that used to take place in the barbershop, because that's been infiltrated by half barbershop, half salon.
Okay.
When he's at school with other boys, if hopefully none of them is trying to hump on him, hey, so you're not really getting the masculine energy and direction that you need had the man been in the household day-to-day operation. Isn't it hard to be a manager at a job if you're always at home?
I just don't think there's groups. I just don't think there is places where men are forming as groups anymore, and I think that is the problem. It doesn't matter. Like the homes matter, yes. But a boy still needs not just his father, but at least I think 2 other male figures in his life for him to grow up to be the the most.
I'm glad you said that, because now you're opening the door to financial matters, because there are. When you look at every police precinct in the United States, they have what they call the Explorers Program, where kids can go in there and learn discipline and structure in a semi or paramilitary environment. But that costs money.
That costs economics, of course.
Okay.
So where I'm more talking is somewhere like a church. Because we know
wrong answer.
We know women all go to church.
Wrong answer.
Single mothers are always going to church. They show up there with all their kids. But the men are walking out of churches.
Churches is the last place anybody want to go to for anything.
I think that's the problem. I think we've learned to remove. Going back to the last topic from last week, I think we've made it a habit to remove religion and culture and structure, because it
got corrupted.
Religion teaches structure.
Yes.
Right? So if men being in there will at least learn how to move in structure.
100%. Also, going back to the points about Kevin Samuels and like needing a leader, technically we shouldn't even be completely led by any other man, right? Like technically, if you're a Christian, your leader already exists, and that leader would be God. So even if another Kevin Samuels rises and then passes away, technically you shouldn't be misled, because you should be following God in the first place, or Jesus Christ. So I do think part of the
which is in the mind, not in the building.
Which is, I think, part of the reason why we like. The issue is us straying away from that structure, that original structure. I think is a major issue. So I agree.
Then it has to stop being corrupted, because in today's world, you have to be careful what church you're going to, who's around, who's that person, did they serve time, are they registered offenders. It's a lot of shit that goes on with these churches that cause the ripple of distrust.
This segues right into the perfect reaction. Okay, I don't know how the hell it happened, but it happened pretty damn well. Thank you, God, for making that happen that way. All right. Fair use.
Believe that the man should respect the woman. Do not verbally abuse the woman. Don't by any means beat the woman. You can't even stay in our church if you physically beating your woman. We believe that you should be arrested and you should be locked up. If you're gonna have a child by a woman, have enough decency to take care of the child.
These seem like good morals and standards to me.
They're making babies, but it's not even in them. It's not. They act like it's not even in their character to take care of what they have.
Right.
So a lot of these women are what? They are single mothers, and they have become mother and father, and yet these type of men, many of them, still go to church, and these type of issues are not being addressed. Period. So no, we encourage our brothers, by all means, don't be out here with your pants hanging down, showing your drawers. We're living in a society where this is so normal to see grown men. Hey man, when I came up, man, our pants was up.
Facts.
Our underwear, that's why it's called underwear. They should be under your clothes.
Facts. I mean, these are all facts.
We have Kay. I know Kay, you have a couple questions.
I haven't heard anything wrong yet. I haven't heard anything.
Verbal abuse. Calling women whores and prostitutes at the pulpit is a form of verbal abuse. I would just like to say that if you did not know. But what are your female clergies? What do they think about your remarks about women?
The women, I have mixed reaction internationally. There's a lot of women that agrees that, yeah, well, he's calling a spade a spade. But you have
degrading. Do women find your remarks degrading?
Oh, yes, some find it degrading.
How about you, Kay? Do you find his remarks?
It really doesn't. Well, my opinion would be, I don't want it to, degrade you or say anything that would offend you, but I don't care what he thinks. So it doesn't matter to me.
Well, see, I respect that. She don't care what I think. Well, let me ask a question. Do you have a daughter?
I do not.
You don't have a daughter.
But my grandmother, may she rest in peace, is she actually led the women in ministry, Lillian Fire Webb.
Okay. If you had a daughter, would you rather have your daughter walk on the street half naked with a breast hanging out.
Of course not. I mean,
Exactly.
Why not?
Well,
I'm
then
a
there you
woman
go.
with certain morals and values, so I know how to dress. I know when is appropriate, what not to do. But I think that if you're going to judge a woman and she's at your church and she decides to go there, and then you're criticizing her and demeaning her, that's not a form of helping someone.
Basically, I totally disagree. Criticism, there's constructive criticism.
Constructive criticism is one thing, but to criticize and demean is different.
Well, if you calling an individual by what they project to be, how is that demeaning? That is not demeaning.
By how they dress? How do you know what they are on the inside?
No, basically, I am not
It's
saying
always that
they
inside.
are a whore because of the way they dress. I'm talking about it is the appearance. If I came in here, let me make it a good example.
Okay.
Again, if I came in here and rings on every finger like the bling bling preachers and had my hair processed hanging down, and this loud blood red suit and purple shoes and an apricot shirt and a bright yellow tie, would you really believe I'm a man of God, or would you believe I'm just a straight up pimp and just went in church business to pimp?
I don't think you would be
Exactly.
a pimp.
Exactly.
Let me ask you something, because we have B Expo coming up next Saturday. I hope you can come. It's $15. I mean, I think you have that money. Tickets, you can get them at rnbphilly.com. We have Albie Shore, Christopher Williams, Dougie Fresh, Roland Martin, Ernest Pugh, and we have Erica Campbell. Okay. Erica Campbell's on our sister station, Praise 107.9. She does mornings as well. And she, she's a gospel singer from Mary Mary, and she dresses like this. Do you have a problem the way Erica Campbell? Way Erica Campbell, a woman of the Lord, dresses?
Well, if I didn't know that she said she was a Christian, by looking at her clothes, hugging her body, I wouldn't think so.
I saw how
that's just calling us a spade.
Staring at that picture as well.
I wouldn't think she's a Christian at all. If a woman is modest, she's not dressing in a manner that appears to be sexual, like she's drawing sexual attention to herself. A woman's body is sacred. The Bible speaks plain. Your body is the temple of the living God.
He talking.
And if our body, whether we are man or a woman, if our body is a temple for the living God, then we should conduct our body in that manner. And when we walk in a public and people look at us, our women should not be on display. If you look at advertisement, what do they show you to get the product first? A female.
Exactly.
To buy a soda, you got a female in a bathing suit. To get a car, you get a female in a bathing suit. Our women have been displayed as looking at a sex object. So therefore, when they buy things, they think it make it look sexy. Listen, God made you to be beautiful, and you don't have to go to Walmart to buy it.
Speaking of beautiful, we have the B Expo. It's going down. This is just it's a lot. We have
the breaking point for me for church.
Shout out to Poor Man Podcast. That was one of his originals from 2020. Yeah. That was
out of all the people they could pick, Mary, oh my God, that was a good setup.
But that's what I mean. That pastor, that. Imagine young men growing up around a man like that, or men just like him. Do you think we're gonna have a bunch of 60 boys like now? But that's what I'm saying. Like he
made some good valid points, but and the sister was making a lot of excuses.
Correct.
Because we all know we go to church now. When was the last time you stepped in a church and women wore stockings?
When the last time I seen a woman with stockings on? I ain't seen a woman.
They walking in these churches looking like they just came out the club. That's being real. A lot of these women are going to church like they just came out the club. Some of them just bypassed from the club straight to church. And that's being real, Chris. I'm not putting churches down. It's just that what I'm trying to put out there is that it's not like it was before, where the trust level has increased. It's decreasing because church is in the mind and it's in the heart. It's not in the building because it's been corrupted. It's been infiltrated. You can't trust no male in a church nowadays because we know the obvious and even the inobvious of guys that's going around messing with kids, just like women in the schools dealing with boys. It's not just a man thing no more. It's men and women out there picking on kids, churches, schools, etc.
If a church is held to a specific standard, the men and the women in that church are going to move a certain way. It's not 100% guaranteed, but if a church is held to a standard, if a church is actually speaking out about the trans, the homosexuality, everything that's actually going on in the world, if you see the women in there are not baby mamas, but there's actually married folks in there, if they actually have a strong congregation, if the people in there are actually reading the word and are about the word, then no, not a lot of that stuff that you're speaking about wouldn't be happening in that church.
The churches are ran by public opinion because you have a lot of these churches, and I'm just going to stick to the black churches. They're not allowing no homosexuality in there whatsoever. You gay? Don't come to this church.
You sure? I would say
Yes, there are.
a lot of black churches. If you're putting money, if you're throwing money in, if you're sowing your tithes, then if you're gay, if you're a baby mama, don't matter who you are, come in through those doors. Come and preach with us.
But that's who's supposed to be coming in there. Homosexuals. That's who's supposed to be coming in there. Baby mamas, unwed women. That's who's supposed to come in there.
Very valid point. But that if that church is held to a certain standard, yes, that's who's supposed to be walking in. But if that church is allowing everything that's immoral for tithe money, then no.
Bingo.
That's not the people that need to be in there.
But you're supposed to be tithing anyway. You're supposed to tithe.
But there's a difference between saying that it's not a sin, so people will keep coming and keep tithing.
Oh yeah, now that's wrong.
Saying you're welcome, but acknowledging that what they're doing is not okay in the eyes of God. That's
correct. See, now you're messing up the money, because the moment somebody say anything against LBGT or any alphabet, your money just went down, because the word's going to get around and they're going to be like, oh, this church got something against it.
And just like that woman was just saying, oh, it's judging, oh, it's shaming. And he's like, I'm calling a spade a spade. Like I wouldn't have known that woman was a Christian just because she ain't dressing like no Christian. She's not dressing modestly. She's got a turtleneck, but there's nothing left in the imagination. Like you can see everything. So it's just about calling a spade a spade. Even if you're going to a church, the church shouldn't be about tithe money. It should be about you're here to learn how to be a better person, how to walk in the footsteps of God. You can do your best. You can never obviously achieve that, but you can always strive for that. But if that's never being called out, then no, you're never going to have strong men actually growing up in that church. You're never going to actually have modest women growing up in that church. It's just going to be the same people outside of the church or inside the church. The only difference is one of them labels themselves a Christian and still does everything like the people outside of the church.
So let me ask you something. So we're going to bypass the home and use church as the foundation of raising boys and girls and men and women to be adults and responsible and family structured?
I'm not bypassing the home, but I'm being realistic. I'm sorry. I didn't know you're saying
I just want to make sure I understand what you're saying, because if the church is going to be our place of worship and our place of where men come and teach boys and what we say in the structure and be contributory, isn't that supposed to be done at home first before we even went to church?
True. But now we're also living in a world where these same women are they're single mothers, and chances are they're taking all of their kids with them to church. They're not working on getting a man. If anything, they're going to wait for that son to become grown enough to become a son husband. So what I'm saying is, if that boy goes to church and he's actually seeing some strong male leadership, then he can actually know what to follow after. He actually has a model, as opposed to living under her tyranny the entire time.
Oh, okay. So that's like a weekend. That's like a weekend stepdad.
It's better than what? Nothing at all.
So I get to go to church every Sunday to see this married man with his kids and his wife, and I wish I can be like that.
And
but
if that church is actually trying to promote healthier relationships, then they're probably going to have some other activities, have some kind of clubs, something to bring the youth in, keep them there, and to actually foster better, healthy mindsets.
I wish that was possible.
I think it is. I think we just have to start shifting how our minds think about it.
It's possible, but something's got to happen. Because here's a point. We all know from the last show, right, that there's a specific target on small children and homosexuals, right? Yes. They are recruiting the kids because the next generation of old homosexuals, like having a young boyfriend, is a thing in that community for a bear. And anybody who's gay, they know what a bear is and a pup. They know exactly what I'm talking about. If you got some tuned in listening, they know exactly what a bear is. A bear is a bigger, older man who likes young pups. They like young boys, like in their 20s.
You're scaring
like
me.
19, 20. I'm telling you, hey, this is a fucking thing. This is a real deal thing, right? Yeah. So they aging out, and it's not like homosexuality is not natural. They know that shit. The homosexual who published the literature 25 years ago, who gave them the foundation to present to the Supreme Court to get the rights and make that argument that you were born this way, which about, I don't know, 10 years after that, the shit was redacted, and the researcher was ordered to write a redaction, and it was removed. And since then, they've masked the research on there's no gay gene, or they challenged it, and anytime you talk about it, that's homophobic talk. The loudest dog in the room started.
They still got more rights than we did.
Way more rights. We ain't had no rights for real since the civil rights movement, man. But anyway, so if they doing that, if you take a child in the church, they need to see them heterosexual couples outside their parents. If the parents might be single, you don't know what that child thinking. That child might be thinking that mama broke up with daddy because she gay. Mm-hmm. You don't know. A lot of parents don't get into that deep dive with their kids. You feel me? They allow their imagination, which is fucking this big, and then especially while they developing, to just run wild. Then you got a kid. Imagine this, Clement. You got a 5-year-old on TV on YouTube watching a fucking 14-year-old, 15-year-old talking about. There are many different types of gender. And if your parents tell you that it's only one or two and you're a boy or girl, then your parents don't really love you. You could be a boy or girl, you could be both, you could be pansexual,
you could be neither.
Whatever you want to be. That fucking kid is gonna be like, I can be whatever. Now this child don't never go nowhere, your ass single. Then they go to school. So how do you identify? What do you mean? Well, you know,
I understand I understand what brother's trying to do.
That damn shit true. That shit there just made what that kid saw on YouTube true. Then you watch a fucking movie, nigga, and it's got men dressed like women and women. Oh no! By the time that child is 14, nigga, you can't tell them that it's two genders. You can't tell them that they ain't something else. Then the nigga have a low self-esteem. You been raised with your mama, she don't let you outside, so you slower than all the other boys. You don't really have no coordination because you don't go outside and play because your damn mama overprotective and shit. So you feel like you don't fit in. So guess what you think you are, Clement? Guess what you think you are? Well, I must be a girl. I must be a girl, and this
I must be a deer.
Is useless.
No, listen. I
If
understand.
you
I
identify as
understand what he. I understand what he was trying to say with the church, but that's why I made the comment weekend stepdad, because you forgot every child 8, 9 years old to 21 got a better cell phone than us. Okay, they spend a lot of time on that shit. That's the new babysitter. So regardless of the image that you're trying to put them in a church setting, 6 days a week, they still got their cell phone with access to everything from Pornhub to YouTube and every damn thing else.
So, Carl, here's my thing. I want some kind of solution. That's what I'm saying.
I've seen. And effectively,
you're saying that there is no solution.
Effectively, because there's too much domino effect that you're talking about. No matter what, you're talking about finance, you're talking about women's mindset, the different mindsets of women that exist, men, the different divisions of men that exist, children. You're talking about a structure.
I think if you look at it as this big, gigantic thing, that it's. I was recently talking to my dad, and he said there's this old African proverb, right? How do you eat an elephant? Take small bites. Yeah. If you look at that entire elephant, you ain't never gonna get that whole thing done. But you tackle what you can. You do what you can to at least try to minimize that problem, and that's all you can just keep doing is minimizing the issue till it's not a giant elephant anymore. And all I'm saying is, go ahead, Chris.
That means you're going.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were done.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say exactly. I think one thing that, where one area where we're lost is, I think a lot of men think the solution is for like women to like change their minds. Like men in the manosphere have gotten so good at identifying all the women that they don't want, that they have no interest in. There are these modern women who have these awful mindsets, don't want to be with them, are independent, are feminists. Like they can tell you, they can identify every aspect of a woman that they don't like at all. And I think the major issue is that instead of them focusing on what they don't like in women, they're not focusing on how they can get the women that they do want. They do exist. Build with that woman, start a family strong unit with that woman, have children with her, and then start their lives together that way, making those small steps to building a strong community, one family at a time, with the one thing that they can control, which is their own family and their own children, right? You can't control how all these other women think, and you don't want these women anyways, so why does it matter what they think? I think we just get so stuck.
Because what you just described is actually a needle in a haystack.
I mean,
you're talking about two women two out of every 10 women you're talking about.
No, I think there's a silent majority. I think there's a silent majority of women that don't agree with a lot of this, that want to just find a husband and live a good life. That are not all about the money.
Infiltrated.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So you don't think focusing on what you really don't want instead of focusing on what you really want is not a solution? That's like, if you just focus on what you want and stop complaining about what you don't want, don't you think you would get what you need and want faster? Anybody?
Focus on what you don't want.
Yes, I think that's how that works.
Tell them, Danielle.
Focus
Tell
on
them,
what you
Danielle.
don't want.
I mean, if you think about what they're saying, Carl.
I'm thinking, I'm running through it 2-3 times.
Just think of it like this, right? When you shopping, right? You don't go in the store and you know how men shop. So we go in, we know we want this, and we go in and get that, and we ain't looking at a damn thing else because that's not what we came here for. Okay.
Right.
So if you know that you don't want nothing but this, okay, then focus and look for that. Don't worry about every damn thing else on the shelf out there. Just worry about what the fuck it is you're looking for, and you're gonna find that ass. Because it's gonna pop the fuck up because you know what it looked like, especially someone who's seasoned like we are. We can cut right to the fucking chase immediately. We're gonna know, we're gonna see it. We know what to look for. A young pup might not see that shit, but a seasoned gentleman like me and you will.
But
I'm
see,
not
this is
gonna
my
worry
point.
about everything else. I'm only gonna worry about this.
And this is why I'm thinking about, because just like y'all using the analogy of shopping, you're right. We know what we don't want, but what we do want, prefer, and need and choose. You know how many fucking signs you see discontinued?
Damn, Carl, you had that man came back.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
No longer being sold.
I mean, listen. When I'm looking for something and I can't find it, I'm gonna tell you the first place I go to all the time, Costco's and Amazon. And I say to myself, damn it, if Costco's and Amazon don't got it, I'm screwed. Like I said, it's what you prefer, cooperation and peace. And needle in the haystack, like I was saying to Chris. How many without finding somebody that's more concerned with what's putting in than what they're getting out of it. That is like a needle in a haystack. Finding that woman that is more concerned with what is being put in to the relationship, put into making this happen.
Okay, fair enough.
Than what they're getting out of it.
Fair enough. Let me throw this at you then. You find that woman, and that's just how she's been her entire life, right?
Mm-hmm.
But she's also she's flexible. She's willing to change. But because you're looking for all these signs to rule her out, you see that and you check her, you rule her out as she's not a valuable option. She's not a viable option. What I'm saying is that there's a lot more women out there that I believe that there's a lot more women out there that they're a silent majority. And we only hear the loudest minority right now because the most broken people are always the one that usually pick up that microphone. Not the healed, fixed people.
They too busy.
And because all we hear is the broken people, we think that's just the majority. And it's not. That's what I'm saying. And I think that there's some that just like some men out there, they are raised with just a different lens, and they are very much willing to pick up a different set of lens that like, okay, these actually fit better, as opposed to always walking around with the wrong lens. But they're also going to need someone else to kind of like guide them through that.
Well,
and
it's very hard to try to look at someone and say, you know what, young lady, I like you visually, you look attractive. I'm willing to open up and give it a shot to see if we can make something happen towards something long term. The issue is now, are you trying to be my mother or are you trying to be my wife?
What do you mean?
Because in a retrospect, I'm looking at a lot of women that are not qualified to be wives because they wasn't taught to be wives. Remember, the last 3 generations are not taught to be wives. They was taught what
But there are some that are flexible. There are some that are willing to learn and get under a man's leadership. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, they haven't been taught how to be wives. But if you're a man that hasn't been, granted, you're seasoned. You know what you're doing.
This is like going to college again. I swear to God, because now
if you're seasoned, are you not capable of teaching? If you're seasoned, are you not capable of teaching?
Yeah. Do I look like Dr. Phil to you?
So
really? Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. I'm supposed to work hard on maintaining being a qualified man, and now I got to teach you how to get, maintain, and keep a qualified man? Does that make sense to you? I got to teach you how to get me and maintain me?
You know, you kind of want like a woman.
Then you don't deserve it.
You complain a lot, and all that. Every time somebody say something, you combat it with like. To me, it sounds like an excuse, and that's what women do.
Yeah.
Well, that's
You don't hear
a
nothing
very,
whether it's correct or makes sense to you or not. You always will come back with something that is going to negate what they said.
you know why? Because well, it could be weird, duly noted, but let me tell you something. I deal with logic without emotions, and I break down to solutions. Logic without emotion.
You sound very
okay. No, well, actually, I'm not.
Okay.
And to put it even better, like I said, I've had a long history of observing people, reading people, and knowing the pulse of people, men and women. I spent 40 years in this field. So for me to speak is only speaking on what I see, what I hear, and what I know. I
What
can't
you
speak
see is
on
what you
something
hear, but none of it has been what you experience is what I'm hearing. You're only going off of what you see, not what you've actually done.
No, I look at patterns and outcomes.
So it's not what you've actually done. It's what you've seen and observed. So you really don't know how it works because you haven't done it. Because if you actually done it, then you would be able to say, I'm basing it off my experience and not an observation. When you observe people, what you see is what will happen for them. That don't mean that that's what will happen for you because you're somebody completely different. It's getting dark, so I'm gonna get off of here because y'all men doing a lot of complaining. Sound like females.
Okay.
Blaming
Well,
females.
congratulations.
Y'all doing the same thing that females.
But you sounding very masculine and sound like a man too, because you don't know how to respect men.
I'll talk to y'all later. And y'all
Well, congratulations. Congratulations. This is, I mean, you know, I can't see how a woman 5'6" can stand up to a 6'2" man and yak, because I just talked about this. In the 70s, women get out of line. You smack the shit out of them and put them back in their sense. I'm not condoning it, but I understood what it was about. And now, look today. Women are smacking the shit out of men and everybody's saying it's okay. Come on now. Know your fucking role and position. It's not about being emotional. It's about being logic without emotion. And a lot of women can't do that, obviously.
Well, do you think that your observations kind of maybe skew your perspective about what is available to you?
That's actually a really good question. But hold on before that. That was a really good question. Thank you for that. Miss Ty, what's going on?
Child, look.
You making me hot now, boy. You got a lot of body.
Baby, this is a whole lot going on right now.
You getting big.
I don't know where to start, so I'm just asking me a question or something. I don't know. I'm just okay.
Say something.
Your accent is so beautiful, Miss Ty.
Is that Cajun? Louisiana?
Okay.
Oh yeah.
It was so much going on because when I started watching, you was talking about one thing, and then you start talking about the whole church thing. And I'm a preacher's kid, so I can talk a lot about that and everything I just heard right now. So, what you want me to talk about?
You're a preacher's kid?
Yes.
Okay. Well, okay. So you have the perfect thing. All right.
Good resource.
There are very little men in churches, right?
Say it again.
Are there very few men in churches?
Correct. Now they are. Yeah.
Now more than ever. Are there strong male leadership in churches?
They are, but they're not being shown a lot. A lot of churches, the smaller churches, have more of a strong leadership than the churches that you see, publicized more than anything. The churches that's on TV and all that kind of stuff. But you see more of that in the smaller, storefront, small churches. So yeah, it's a big difference between the mega churches and the smaller churches.
So, what do you think it would take to bring more men back to churches? Let me ask you that.
Ooh, child. Okay.
Single black men at that.
Oh, hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second, guys.
I'm curious on what the answer is going to be now. What do you think is going to be, Chris?
Sorry, I had to talk to my son.
No
Very
worries.
smart. Awesome. Thank you, buddy. Going back to. Okay, wait a minute.
What would it take?
Thank you. I would say going. Okay, first of all, the churches have lost their way. It's more about preaching prosperity. What you say? Hold on, and that's my dad. Let me ask for that. Dad.
Perfect.
A question. They're having a question, and it was talking about the black men are leaving the church more than ever now, and they're asking you what will bring black men in general back to the church.
Single ones predominantly.
Yeah.
Because like more single men are not even going to church anymore.
Right.
So they were saying what will bring people back to the church.
You got to go with what the scriptures say. The scripture say in the last days there's gonna be a great falling away from the faith. Get that scripture and read it. In the last days there's gonna be a great falling away from the faith. That's why you see the men's and stuff walking away from the church. Great falling away.
He's essentially saying we're in this times of Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yep.
I mean, that's what I posted in the chat last week. And when it's close to the end of time, right will be wrong, wrong will be considered right. That's where you in right now. If I speak against homosexuality, that's wrong. But no, the world says it's right. If I speak against transgenderism, it's wrong, but the world says right.
You're right.
Yeah.
And everything that I say about it is wrong. You're a bully. You're homophobic. You're transphobic. Words that are not even of the English. It doesn't even when you define it, it's not even a word.
They just created it.
They created the word just to actually bully what it is you're saying.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know what? And people actually is not. They don't have the. They don't study the word like they're supposed to. We are living in a time where the Bible already let us know what's going to happen in the end of time. So this is not something new that is happening. He said, in the last days, there's going to be a great falling away from the faith. There's going to be believers walking away from the truth. And what happened? They're walking out of the church.
Listen, too many people are too busy trying to have fun. They're trying to chase money. They're trying to chase convenience. And a lot of people think they got all the time in the world.
And guess what the Bible said?
Wrong answer.
What's that?
The Bible, no, you right. You're on the right track. You maybe lost it. It'll come back. It'll come back to oh man, what?
He tired, yo. He just got home.
This is awesome. I mean, listen, thank you for the little bit of time you have, you know.
Yeah, that scripture will come back to me, man. Like I had it too.
And then we had to look at, it says, a lot of the young people's gonna be more rebellious.
Mm-hmm.
You're not being able to, you can't tell them nothing. You can't tell them the truth because then they're going to say, just like the young lady on the video saying, that's verbal abuse. Trying to tell you something good, something criticism to tell you something right. They say it's going, you criticizing them or bashing.
What did the Bible say? They'd rather hear a lie than the truth.
There you go.
They'd rather for you to lie to them they'd rather not for you to tell the truth than lie to them. The Bible says we'd rather hear a lie than the truth.
Yep.
People tell lies to themselves and get mad that they can't get nobody else to agree with them.
That's right.
Exactly.
There you
Yeah,
go.
there you go.
So, but just
All right,
like
all right. Let me get some rest, y'all. Okay, it's just
yeah,
me
no
now.
problem. But okay, so just like damn, there was a story in the Bible where I think it was I don't know, I think it was Jacob. The story goes he was talking to Jesus and or God, and he said, listen, if I could go there and find 50 people, no 40 people, no 30 people, 20 people, if I could find 10 people, he essentially went there to save his what is it?
Oh, you talking about Lot?
Lot. Yes, he went there to save Lot. So what I'm saying is there still some kind of effort out there to save the lots of the world?
No.
Listen.
It's impossible. It's not even possible.
It's impossible. Yeah. Well, because this is the thing. It goes back to what Dad just said. It's not even going to matter at this time.
Exactly.
Because the people have turned off their ears to truth. It doesn't matter where it comes from.
Nobody cares.
And you always going to have you'll have a remnant of few. Like you know how we are here on the panel. You know, you be on the panel with a couple of people and you only got 2 people agreeing with each other and the rest of them bucking against you.
Yes.
It's just like that. Just like that. You're only going to have a few that's going to take heed to what is true. And the rest, what is the analogy is being used? You know, when you have the 2 roads and you only going to see a few on one road and then you're going to see thousands going on the other side because it looks easier.
It looks easier.
And that's how it is.
I just think we're too far gone for any resolution, man.
Yeah. Go ahead, John.
Okay, so while while we're talking about this, right? Because I feel this in my spirit. Listen, let's imagine this map. Let's pretend like you got God, right? He created this earth, created this world, man and woman, everything, right? God works off of free will. And if I'm a jealous God and you shall honor no other God before me, and you say you love me, free will is exactly how I want to present this. That it goes, if you put it in secular terms, it's giving you rope. It's the same.
It's a test.
Yeah,
exactly a test.
You can go. That's why he said the road to salvation is narrow.
Yes.
And filled with pitfalls.
Mm-hmm.
The road to hell is broad and wide.
Yes.
You got drop off. You got rest points. You got whore houses over here you can rest at. You got drug houses over here you can rest at. You got all of these bad things that you can do to rest in, and while you're on this big wide road, because why? You lazy anyway. So even though you got a easy way to go, you still like to sit down and rest, and that's what's important to you. You understand?
And let me point out this as well. So okay, so there's a scripture, especially when we seeing like when things are bad, we always hear the pastors get on the TV. We need to come together and.
Of course.
With all the, crime, and even when COVID was going on, everybody was like, "Where's the pastors and where's the preachers?"
I ain't seen not one.
All the where's Benny Hinn? Let me blow on some people now. Where you at? And me and my dad was talking the other day. He was like, here we go. God said in the word. He said, "If my people, which are called by my name, will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from the wicked ways, he will heal you. He will heal the land. He'll fix it." Well, a lot of times when we quote that scripture, we forget about the first words. God already had doubt. He said, if.
Yeah.
He already had doubt that we know good and well we're not going to come together to do it. That one word changed the whole playing field of what the word of God is saying. He said if he already had doubt that he know the people mindset is not going to be together to do exactly what he said for him to heal the land. That one word.
I remember the theological seminar. They asked us to read the Bible from front to back and count how many times was the word if included.
Yeah, he already knows. It's already like, but when we read the scriptures, we don't, you're not even thinking about that word. But he's already telling you, I already know that y'all going to be a mess. You're not going to do what I say,
That's what I mean. That was the whole purpose why he sent Jesus here to die on the cross so that we can have salvation. Because Adam and Eve introduced sin into the world.
Yeah, we were born natural born sinners.
So we're natural born sinners. We're not born we're born evil. We are born evil. And I had somebody try to corral. Listen, man, stay in your lane. You don't really understand where I'm going. You don't really understand what I'm putting. You're not picking up what I'm putting down, and you're not understanding what's coming out. So just stay right there, and I'll bring it home. I'll bring you on home. We are born inherently evil. That is a fact. A child lies before they know how. A baby even lies the way you cry.
Yep.
A baby will lie, will do a mock cry to make you come and see about it, and they don't want shit. It wants you.
They come out cunning already.
Yeah, they learn how to manipulate before they learn how to talk.
Yep.
I mean, we are born evil, period. And when you have games like GTA, why do you think GTA don't have no plot line to it? There's no real missions in GTA. Me and my boys were talking about this the other day. It allow, and guess what? 90% of the people who play the game, ask me what they do. They commit the crimes in the damn game.
Right. Yeah.
Why do you think that is? See, you can learn a lot from just observing behavior. That's the best form of scientific evidence.
Exactly.
You're not manipulating what you're observing. You're allowing them to exist in their own natural habitat and do what they're going to do.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I might be a weird person, but I tried my hardest to one day just play it on as a regular person. Follow the light. Signal on the left turn.
And how long was it before you started beating people up and shooting the hell out of everybody?
I accidentally ran over someone and I got like 4-star cops coming after me. I'm like, well,
oh man,
they're the law.
but you notice how your adrenaline went up and you got more interested as them 4 stars was up there.
Yeah, I was like, all right, I got to do something now.
Yeah,
ran over a lot more people by then.
When it was peace and boring and quiet, you was like, oh, come on, man, when is the action going to come?
You know what? To go with peace, normal, and quiet was a very hard thing to do.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you would think if it was in your nature to be that way, then you would be that way. No. You're not naturally that way. You naturally seek that thrill.
Chaos.
Listen, man. Back in I don't know what year it was, but Carl, you'll know what I'm talking about. NYPD went on strike. I forget what year it was, but I know women was getting raped in broad open daylight. Motherfuckers was getting robbed.
Actually, they had twice.
Daylight. Yep. When they went on strike. So demands was met fucking fast as hell. Do you know that if there was a real purge, how many people would commit murder? People would try to kill you that you never thought would kill anybody.
Actually, thank you for saying that. I just came up with a solution. We need a purge because that's the only way people will appreciate what they have.
Oh, that's coming, but that's a whole nother podcast, baby.
That is coming.
When you talk, hold on. When you talk about men in the household and relationships and all this stuff, yes, watch what happens when a purge happens. How many strong, independent black women you gonna hear talking their rhetoric?
They're gonna be lost.
Okay.
Can I segue to something that I can't see his name. I think it's Carl.
Carl, yes.
Okay. So when I came in on the conversation you were having, and you were talking about finding a woman or a woman that's not a wife, and Clement was saying that she may be flexible, and then quote me if I'm wrong. You said you don't have time to teach her how to be a wife or whatever. I kind of agree with you a little bit, but then again I agree with Clement because I look at it like this. You may find it because there are some women. I mean, okay, so it is a very select women, that are raised to be wives. I mean, because like past my generation, child, please, these girls, Lord have mercy, we need to hold the altar call. But there are young ladies or women that are willing to submit to a man. And when you said that you don't have time to teach her, I think what happens in the dating process, you have to tell her exactly what you require from her when you're doing the dating and courting stage. So therefore she can seek guidance from women that are in that position of a wife, so that she'll be able to, do the things that you require in a marriage. So I agree with both of you a little bit, but it's not that you have to teach her how to be a wife. You just have to present your requirements,
the guidelines
for you. Right, exactly. And then go ahead, sis. Go ahead. Yeah.
I was gonna say Kevin Samuels called it customization. Like women come with like this like default setting of wife.
Exactly.
And customize them to be your wife.
Exactly, because every man is different. Because I've seen a lot of men on these panels be like, "Well, I don't need a woman to cook and clean for me because I can do it myself." So they don't want a woman like that. But then there are others wants a traditional wife, and then there are others that want a 50-50 partner instead of a traditional marriage. So when you're dating or courting a woman, this is the time where you test, where you're supposed to be testing each other, to whether you are going to be compatible for marriage. So I agree with both of you at the same time, but you have to understand you're not teaching her. You're just giving her the blueprint of what you want your marriage to be. So then she can just, if she wants you to, wants to be with you, that woman is going to do everything possible to be the woman that you want.
Lines, exactly.
Yeah. So and if she bucks against that, then that lets you know, okay, block and delete. See you later. She's not the one.
No, I mean, I'm and you want to know something? I'm not. I'm more like a devil's advocate. Like I said, I like to explore all the avenues, just like playing chess. When you're attacking and defending at the same time. But in this case, based on what you just said, I understand the blueprint. And when I mean I don't want to teach, it's not like I'm trying to keep things simple, because simple keeps the stress level down. You understand? So if you walk up to a man and he's single, he's employed, he has no kids, lives by himself, got all his stuff together, life insurance and all he says is three things: make time for him, make love to him, and give a damn about him. What's so hard?
Again, that goes back to what I just said.
It goes back what you said.
If the woman can't give you exactly what you want, when you tell her this is the requirements to be with me, then she's not the one.
But see, that's the point that's what I was saying, Chris, earlier about a needle in a haystack, because we have a mindset today that you don't want to listen to what a man is telling you is required, needed, or preferred. You want to put in that and then whatever you want. It's like somebody asking you to make them eggs, man. And you got to put like 15 different seeds. I ain't asking for that. I just said make the eggs and that's it. I didn't ask you to add all this extra stuff in because you think that's what I want or need, or this is how you do things. And see, that's the simplicity that I feel, based on my observation, that people are missing. Simplicity. Coffee conversation. Everything got to be extended, extra. For what? You don't even know if that's a man or woman yet.
Okay.
Huh.
That's what life we're in.
Conversation.
Lord have mercy.
Whole different conversation.
You know what I'm saying?
I did a show not too long ago when I with my men's panel, when we were talking about, you know, what do men really want, and it came out to be so simple. And the problem is with women is that and like you just said, they want to add their 2 cents. They want to, you know, be combative. Like, well, what you mean by that? Like you said, I just want some eggs, but what you mean? What you you know? Instead of taking his word as is, I find a lot of, you know, women are taking on that, which is weird. Like, okay, you're making it harder for you by trying to interject your feelings. So it for me, I see a lot of women trying to make men women. You're trying to make men think like women.
That's what's good.
So, and I think you guys were talking about it earlier. It's like, you know, you have to go back to how people are have been raised. You have a lot of these young ladies been raised by single mothers. You know, they didn't submit to a man. So how are they going to teach their daughters to submit to a man?
There you go.
The daughters didn't see, you know, a husband in the household, or how to treat a husband, how to treat a man, or whatever. So it's like, you know, they're going on, they're running on fumes, basically.
It's domino effect from generation to generation, and as each generation passes, there's some new crap added to make it more complicated than it was before. And here we are.
So you have the young ladies young ladies are being raised masculine to be the man, and you have the young boys are being raised to be feminine, or they're raised to be son husbands because the mamas don't have husbands, so they're raising their sons to be their replacement.
And I said it last week. We are entering a unisex life, unisex relationship, because now that I said it last month, they installed. I hate using that word install, but they installed a transplant, a successful transplant of a uterus in a man. You know what's coming next.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Mm-hmm.
Come on, you know what's coming next.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I said to the brother before, and just like the Muslim sister that was here, Danny, we cannot go back to how we were raised or what we know in our history. We cannot even change the narrative now, because the 2-year-old right now are going to be raised to think their mommy is their daddy, the daddy is their mommy. It's already been accepted. We accepted so much in the last 5-10 years. There's no turning back. It's just going to get worse.
Sodom and Gomorrah.
That's it.
Gomorrah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's nothing a black man could do about it. I mean, you could try, and that's why I use, Kevin Samuel as an example. You could try, but look what happened.
And then I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna fall back because I see that Simon had came up. You know, America has been protected for years and decades and centuries or whatever. We have been protected from a lot. But as you can see now, the hand of protection is being removed from us. And it's only going to get worse. There's no fixing it. It's just life playing out.
Please don't fall back, Miss Ty. Please don't fall back.
Hi, Simon.
You got so much to add, man. You got so much to add. For real, like, peace to the panel.
I'm not, Simon, I hope you ain't been drinking. You been drinking, Simon? Don't play with me.
I've been drinking some water.
Mhm.
It looks like water.
Listen. No, you got so much to add, and it's for real. There's been so many good points. Peace to the panel. CKQ. Salute.
Simon, how you doing, man?
Salute.
Shout out to you. Thanks for coming up, man.
Looming Ebony. Salute. Dr. Bananas. Salute. Look, listen. There's been so many good points, but I think the thing that we do have this short-term perspective in our heads, where we say things are never going to change. We've lived in this sort of life. We're in this age. We're in this space. Things are never going to change, right? I beg you talk to your parents. I beg you talk to your predecessors. I beg you talk to your ancestors about things changing. Things change all the time. It's just we get to this place where it's just like we're living it. And the thing is, like, people grow up and they become adults, and they forget how to be children. If you look at a child will tell you that things are changing around them all the time, and you're trying to work it out for them. If you've ever been in a space where you're responsible for a child, you will see that their world is changing all the time. Your world might be stagnant, and you may seem and come across things where you feel, and I say feel, that it is what it is, and it's not moving. I've got no, I'm in this box, like I can't move. And maybe that's just because you're in the adult phase and you're not sort of interacting like you're in nursery or in primary school or in secondary school where you're around a bunch of people. Now suddenly you're in your own box and you're alone, and you have to make those choices and decisions about who you interact with and how you interact with society. And no one likes that. It's like when you leave secondary school and everyone's signing the back of your shirt and you're like, oh, I'm off to university. Suddenly reality hits you. And we get into this thing where it's like, okay, we get past that. Some people get the grades, some people go into jobs, some people do this and that. But it's like we fail to actually have an external communication method or setup that we're interacting with people and ourselves and people that are like for like, that makes us feel as comfortable as we were in those settings. And it causes problems. So I get what you're saying, big bruv, Shaft. But, it's not an individualistic thing, although we've been led into an individualistic society. And I think that the solution to an extent is to communicate with each other. And platforms like this do that, just this. So I'm going to stop there.
I appreciate it, Simon, but like I said earlier...
Real quick, Carl. I do actually want to go back to Unique question. Yes. Unique, if you're still there. Chris, do you remember what the question was?
Not quite. Oh, she's there. Thank goodness.
Unique, remember the question that you asked me?
Dang.
I know you're multitasking, but can you try to reiterate the question you asked me?
We were talking about focusing on the negative instead of the positive.
I said, do you think your perspective, because of your observations,
yes,
over the years of you taking all this data and figuring out this about people and how people do things, do you think that your perspective kind of is a little bit skewed because of watching those things? And now you can't really see the good. All you see is the stuff that you observe. So now every situation is looking from that lens. Like every situation you encounter, you're looking from the lens of all your observations, all the downfalls, all the needle in a haystack women. Because that's what you've seen, doesn't that kind of
it doesn't, because objectively when you're standing still and listening and observing with your eyes, conversation, body language, patterns, habits, different faces, but the same outcome, right? Whether you're in a diner, a bar, a club, anywhere, a concert, anywhere. I'm in a position where that's all I do is observe people. And that, like I said, the outcome is what I'm really focused on. Besides the habit and the pattern, it's the outcome. Like I said, I've heard for years, right? Women, when they meet dudes, what's the first thing they always say? I want to get to know you. Do you hear that often? Let's get to know each other. That irritates the hell out of me because you're focused on getting to know somebody instead of focusing on getting along with them. 70% of black women are single mothers by men that they so-called got to know. All the way down to Social Security number, they know about their baby daddy, but they don't get along.
I don't understand
I'll beg to differ.
You need both. You need both. You need to get to know them and get along with them.
Like, how are the women supposed to know what type of eggs you like if she doesn't get to know you first?
Yeah.
You know?
Chris, if I took a poll right now, I could guarantee you, if you pick 50 black people right now that have been together for 2 years or less, they don't even know each other's blood type, and they're screwing each other.
No, we always go back to this blood type. Knowing the person is so much more than knowing the person's blood type. I don't know my own blood type. But I know
if I'm a man trying to be a leader to you and start a family, I should know the things like what your blood type is, what food and medication you're allergic to. Especially if I've been sleeping with you for the last 2 years, you should at least be a beneficiary of my life insurance. Why I'm saying it? Because these 3 things says I plan on being with you long term. There's too much of this excuses.
No. What says you plan on being with someone long term is marrying that person and being with that person long term. Putting them on your life insurance, knowing their blood type and medicine is not saying that you're going to be with that person, stay committed to them long term. Putting risk in saying that I'm going to commit to you for the rest of our lives is saying you're going to be with that person long term with action, with concrete action. This idea that knowing someone's blood type is knowing that person oftentimes isn't enough. And that could be the reason why the women that you're looking for, these qualified women, are the needle in the haystack. They're probably not surrounding themselves by you.
Well, correction, not the woman I'm looking for.
Can I interject something that my dad was talking to the ladies the other night, and this is what he said. So my parents been together since my parents were 13 years old until my mom passed away last year.
Dang.
So they've been together for like 50 something years.
Wow.
My dad told the ladies, you will never know each other.
Exactly.
You will always get to know each other. Year after year after year. So that whole getting to know you.
I don't understand that.
Yeah. So I see your point, but then again, I'm like, okay. you still need to know the basics. So yeah.
No, I'm not dismissing that at all. Don't misconstrue me. I'm not dismissing the getting familiar with each other. What I'm saying is the focus should be more about getting along with each other, because guess what? You go to work every day. You don't know none of them people on that job, but because y'all get along with each other, y'all can work together. That's the bottom line. You can't work with somebody if you don't get along with them. You can't have a relationship with somebody if you don't get along with them. You know how many guys out here is baby daddy for 8 years with somebody, and I swear to God, go to any single mother right now, put them in front of their baby daddy and question, do you know dude, did you know her blood type? He doesn't know. Do you know what food and medication? No, I don't. But you slept with that woman. So you had no intention of being with her long term because you didn't even get the basics of what a husband would know if he married her.
I think a majority of people don't actually know their significant other.
But you should. If you plan on being with somebody long term, there's no way 20 years together. Come on now.
Being a beneficiary. Listen, I will. I'll say this, and then John, you can go. I will agree that knowing that stuff is good, but I don't think that is a key component to what solidifies that this man is confident that it's going to go the distance with you. Like,
it's his mindset.
I agree.
It's the mindset. Because a man that comes to any woman with that kind of mindset, what does that says about him?
Are you going to actually go on a date and go, oh, what's your blood type? I mean...
I didn't say go on a date.
So what are you saying?
Come on, Simon.
Hold on. Before you guys get into this, because you guys are Tom and Jerry, John, go real quick.
All right, so here, we spoke on this. Everyone is looking for absolutes, man. There's no absolutes in this. But there's a lot of points that, I liked the dating climate when I was when I was overseas, when I was in Europe. Because you know what we didn't do? We didn't do job interviews on dates. If a girl thought you was cute and you approached her and you asked her to go to have coffee, she would say yes. And when y'all met up to have coffee, you would talk about the city. You would talk about what you're going to do the next time y'all seen each other. And then the next time y'all seen each other was probably the very next damn day. And you would keep doing these things, and the things would get bigger, more fun, more this, more that. Then you'd eventually transition into having sex with this person. But you never did. They never did. I never, not one damn time, was asked anything that sounded like a job interview. Never. Ever. Not one time. And I had some long-term relationships while I was in Europe. And they were fun as hell. Simple as shit. It just naturally came into its own being. Because you can ask a person all of this. You can even be stupid and ask a person, so if I did this, what would you say? What would you say? People ask those damn questions. I hope you know that. People do that. And if what if possibly maybe could be, and what would you say? I don't fucking know. We'll just see what happens, right? Right?
Just do it and find out.
You never fucking know that person. Never. Never. You'll be sleeping with a whole man not knowing he done slept with men too. Because he didn't tell you.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
So it don't matter. You can ask all the questions you want to ask. You can do all the interviewing you want to do. You put more emphasis on the interview than you are on paying attention and having. Why don't you just spend time with this damn person? What is it hurting you? Especially a woman. But there's no damn excuse, bro. Because most of the men are going to treat you like you don't have to bring your purse. So it's not costing you nothing but time to hang out with this dude.
There you go.
Because your husband is not going to look like what the fuck you thought he was going to look like.
Not at all.
And most married women will tell you he wasn't even my type. But I love that motherfucker to pieces. I'll kill you about it.
You know how many times I've heard that? The guy you had in your mind versus the guy you've married 20, 30 years was not your type.
They ain't close.
So do you think women are walking into relationships not understanding the fact that they may need to sort of live with somebody and understand someone and shit and sleep with him? Like, really? Are you saying that's what's going on? Like, women have been doing this and they are doing this?
You mean they moving in to see if they doing that test run shit, that whole useless shit?
I don't know.
That makes a difference.
I don't know. Do you think women are actually doing that? They're sort of walking into relationships, not sort of thinking about that sort of shit. Like, I'm going to be in a box with this person, And I'm gonna have to put up with their socks on the floor. I'm gonna have to put up with, like dirty laundry.
I'm only concerned with what I'm getting out of it, not what I'm putting into it.
I think the majority of women are only thinking about as far as how I feel about him today. That's as far as it goes.
Yeah.
Like the whole purpose of what's the purpose of living with somebody? What are you doing there? Besides pushing yourself further away from being married. If you want a long
companionship,
proposal,
right? It's companionship.
Ain't no companionship, man. You don't need to live with this damn woman to be your companion. She can be your companion.
Maybe you want a roommate.
Nah. When you get old,
you don't want to pay all that rent by yourself, so you get a roommate.
When you get older and shit, like someone's got to take care of you.
When you get older.
No,
when
listen.
you get old.
Listen to what I'm saying, man.
That's what I'm married. That's what for.
When you get old, you need someone to take care of you, right?
What does that got to do with living with somebody, man? You don't need to live with somebody. Marry him.
Miss Ty, thank you for joining us. You've been loved everything you said.
Yes, Miss Ty.
Nothing better than a living roommate / home attendant, huh?
No, it's not a roommate. Like, so what?
With benefits.
So are you quite happy to sort of like live the rest of your life by yourself in a room by yourself? You saying you're not sort of open to sort of having a woman next to you by your side that might tend to you?
Who?
I don't know.
Who?
Anybody.
Nah, I'm just not gonna have a living. I don't subscribe to people practicing marriage, like practice. We're gonna pretend, we're gonna play house until I get tired of you, and then I don't have to worry about getting a divorce. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think that's totally different. I think like if you meet someone and they're your soulmate and you get on and like you can have endless laughter with them and endless conversations and you just sort of like have good energy. And you meet people that are like that. Like you can meet someone who's actually you're just cool with. Do you get what I'm saying? It's not an effort.
So why don't you marry that person?
It's too much manipulation.
You will. I mean, I will but I just have my own perspective on things. So like so it's like that's the thing. So that's, I guess, what people are looking for, rather than sort of like this whole sort of like forced relationship thing, just for the sake of it. Because like you can't force that sort of stuff, like in terms of just having people sort of like in your house and you what is it, playing with the Joneses or something? It's like,
but people do it all the time.
It's doing it all the time.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I agree.
Meet this dude on Saturday, right? They hung out on Sunday. They had sex next week. Cause she didn't want him to think she was a hoe, so she waited, even though she really didn't want to. She wanted to fuck him that night. And then 2 weeks later, they still talking. He's still coming around. And about a month later, she said, she has an idea. This nigga ain't half bad. The sex decent. I'm paying this damn rent by myself. Hell, he got a nice ass apartment. Then she started dropping little subtle hints. He starts picking up those hints because the coochie good. He like how she is, blah, blah, blah. And he said, hey, I have an idea. Nah, nigga, she gave you the idea, but she gonna make you think it's yours. But anyway, go ahead. Why don't you move in with me, boo? Nah, you don't want me there. Yeah, I do. Nah, you don't. I'm gonna go back. Nah, baby, come on. Just go on. What we need to do to get you out your lease? For real?
Hold on, Doc. You forgot that one part, Doc. United States. I don't know how they do it where Simon's at, but United States, especially in the city, you never even see where she lived at. You never even been in her house. But she's moving. Boy. Oh my God. Stop. Right there.
I don't bring men to my house because
my neighbors are nosy.
My kids.
I mean, but as grown men, we make decisions, right? Okay, those girls are out there, right? I'm sure there are men out there that are doing the same damn thing. So it's like it's a choice, really, isn't it? Like, are you actually going to sort of continue to sort of interact with those types of people or not? Like,
I don't know if you realize this is what we're talking about: 25 to 45-year-olds. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And you forgot this is only based in the Black culture. You look at any other ethnic group, they're not even having this conversation at all. Haven't had it in 10, 20, 30 years. We do because we feel we can do better and different than them. We don't want to follow them. We're going to do it our way. We're hard-headed.
That's why I got married, bro. Because it's like I ain't even dealing with that dating and these people out here and all the rest of it. You get what I'm saying? I'm not interested. So it's like that's really why I got married, and I'm not even contemplating any of that stuff. I don't date. I don't do any of that stuff. So it's like it is what it is. But I'm just saying, like, as grown men, we can make decisions and choices and go, look, we're not dealing with that. You know what I'm saying? This is not the way to move forward, like in terms of like any type of relationship or moving forward in any sort of way in terms of interacting with the opposite gender, because it's just not healthy. Do you get what I mean? It's not going to set any sort of standard for any of our children
in the long term.
Forthcoming. So it's like it is what it is. We have to be the example. You can't sort of be out here going, yeah, these girls are doing this, and it's like yeah, fair dues. There's always going to be that. Like prostitution has been around before we were born. Do you get what I'm saying? So are we going to start like it's a new iteration in terms of thoughts and whatnot, but that's the way it is. Do you get what I'm saying? I ain't messing with that. And people of that time weren't messing with that. So it's like, what are we? Do you get what I'm saying? Are we black standard next generation, or are we just going to continue to sort of interact in a sort of way to say, we're still part of that thing? Because I don't really think we are. Like, even like, from what you're saying, it's like we're not. Do you get what I'm saying? So, because you wouldn't have a discrepancy if that was the case, because of your experiences. So you're like, I want something big, I want something different, I want someone to come on my page.
The quality of women, the quality of black women has not been in the percentage that men want it to be, and that's what's the frustration. They want the peace, the cooperation. They want the wife.
I think this video will sum up a little bit of what you're saying. So fair use.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Damn. I don't know what the hell he did to make her piss.
No one else. I seen that today.
That's ridiculous. That's just fucking ridiculous, bro.
I see that all the time in Brooklyn.
He was laughing the whole time, and the other one, he was laughing at her when she ran into the thing. He wasn't scared. He was like, "Ah."
Yeah, but that woman never had any emotional regulation, man. Your emotional regulation is directly connected to your reactivity. When you can't properly regulate your emotions, then you also cannot regulate.
Why didn't he stay there after she tried to run him over the first time, though? Why did he stay and stop talk to her? Like, why didn't he just leave?
I mean, he's not any better. Why would you keep?
Toxic 101.
Why would he keep doing this? Like
he was pretty quick on his feet.
Yeah, he had to be.
Why don't you just go leave? Like he doesn't have any control over his.
No, he's not much better. They're both just equally as dumb.
Equally as dumb. They are two toxic people. They should have never been together. And let's just hope there's no kid in the equation.
Oh, come on.
Everybody is.
They're the first ones to pop out a kid. Maybe 5.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, I mean, there is kids involved.
This is ridiculous. I mean, this right here is a perfect. So let me ask you this: You see how she responded? I bet she got to know him too, and I bet he got to know her too. It doesn't mean shit. Like, do you know, given the climate that we live in, you could pick a wife by flipping a coin and be more successful than at least 35% of the people.
Yeah.
By flipping a fucking coin and saying the next woman come through this door, I'm gonna fucking marry. Why do you think the shows like the 90 Day Fiance doing so fucking well? Why do you think shows like you got 24 hours to decide if you want to marry? Like them niggas is getting married, and some of them is damn being successful. I'm telling you.
Let's. I want to dissect that real quick. Why do you think those are working out so well? Why do you think those? I have a theory on why I think it's working out so well. What do you think?
On as far as the shows,
the
shows themselves, of course, are scripted, but let's keep it on the premise of let's surround it by the context of the show, right?
Okay.
And I'm gonna put my viewpoint from that, right?
Okay.
If I went out, right, and I used what I know about women, right? I could meet somebody on Facebook, talk to them on video, and never meet them in person, and then marry them one day, and would never worry about the relationship going sideways.
That happens.
And I did it. I'm gonna do it. Never met them in person, and I will be more successful than everybody married that I know. Well, I have a beautiful marriage. Great. You understand? Because the only thing at that point we have to add is the sex. That's it. The friendship and everything else has already been established.
I was going to answer his question. You know what was taken out of the equation with those shows?
What's that?
The manipulation clock. There's no room. There's no room for you to wiggle. You got, when you're playing chess by the clock, it's different than when you're playing it without the clock.
You damn right.
There's no time for manipulation, no time for bullshit. Yo, you spend 24 hours. I'm putting you in a room with this dude, and you got 24 hours that you got to get married. There's no room for you to play it's that time of the month. Oh, I got to get to know you. There's no manipulation clock. You got to get busy.
You got to have a plan, and you got to execute that motherfucker. Checkmate.
There's no date with a purpose.
Once you get him on the ring, you got to damn keep him moving.
Wow. Date with a purpose, fuck with a purpose.
Yep.
That's the thing.
No.
You don't need all listen, you don't need all that extra. Like what do you need all that extra for? For what?
No.
You can't do that. You can't.
Why do you Simon? Hold on, let's hear Simon out. Why do you think they're so successful, Simon?
You can't treat women like that. I'm sorry. Like you can't go, it's that time of the month and it's like I'm gonna fuck whenever I want. Like, wow. You know what I'm saying?
Why you think?
Because you need to come on, you're a doctor for Christ's sakes. You should understand biology. It don't work like that.
It does work like that in my world.
Oh wow! So like, Mr. Doctor over here, you do not understand biology to a point that you cannot treat females
Treat
in
them
the same
how?
way you could treat males. Males operate on a different level. Males
But
can
we're
go
talking
at it all
about
day long,
sex.
all day long.
But we're
all
talking
day long.
about sex.
All day long, males can go at it.
We
Right?
Hold on. I think I know what Simon is saying. Simon is saying from his side, where he was raised, that sex during a woman's cycle is not permitted or not looked upon as okay or whatever. Is that what you're saying, Simon?
Nope.
It's not a permitted thing. It's just not happening. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like you got
Simon, I told you last week you need to come to the United States because over
I'm
here,
coming.
women will give it up during that time of the month.
I'm coming, and I'm gonna hook up with you, bro. Because we're gonna have a coffee, and we're gonna sit down and chat.
Men and listen, women over here have no problem. Some of them during that time of the month, and men have no problem accepting.
That's not the point. The point would be the men would have to say no. Like, you have to sort of understand that. What I'm saying is like the biology thing is like the woman might say, okay, cool, because that's what the woman would say. But as a man, you're gonna have to say, look, you know, hold down, like just chill for a second. You get what I'm saying? Because what's going on right there is like something else, and we can't be just, you know, I can't be just like trying to be Peppa Pig over here, trying to get my rock on, and just because. Do you get what I'm saying? Is like you need to respect that thing, and it's like if you don't, it's gonna lead to problems. That's what I'm saying. And
can I ask Chris one thing? Chris, in the Bible, does it say anything against that? I'm asking Chris for 1 second because Chris is more familiar with the Bible than I am.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm probably not.
It's kind of
Go ahead, John. Go ahead, John.
I don't know. So I'm just because it's not going to. I mean, they're not going to bring that up in that sort of text and that scripture from that time. That's not the. I was talking from a modern perspective.
I'm fixing to reach.
Like,
I'm fixing to bring
all
all that
in
home.
Day and age right now.
All right, so let's talk about it from a woman's perspective, and I don't care if it's modern later on. I don't care if she's 22, 21. It's pretty damn modern. Would you agree? A woman gets more hornier when she's reaching her damn cycle than any other time throughout the month. She's gonna want to have sex with you.
Very true.
Most women. Okay.
Damn right.
So,
pregnancy too.
when it comes on, you gotta understand a woman is just as sexual as a man. It sounds like, and I'm not saying you are, but it sounds like you actually bought into the shit that some women spew, because that's not true. I'm telling you, a woman likes to fuck just as much as a man likes to fucking fuck.
More.
There's no denying that. There's no denying that. I'm not saying that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that a woman is not like.
So why should you deny yourself?
You just said put up a do not disturb sign.
No, I'm saying as a man. I'm saying as a man, you need to be able to be the man and go look. Okay.
But I won't.
I understand.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Okay, cool. I understand what you're feeling right now and how you're going through whatnot, but this might not be healthy and productive given the state that you're in, because ultimately there's a hormone shift going on in there, right? Which can ultimately lead to other things. So I don't like other things.
Like what? I'm very familiar with biology, so let's try it out.
I'm talking about a dark towel and plenty of soap and water. What the fuck? You ever change a diaper to a baby?
Bro, Simon, it ain't nothing gonna happen.
Listen,
that thing
who you talking to, bro? Like,
the only thing
that happens daily.
Hold on. Let's recap. Simon, why do you think these shows? I mean, this is fun, entertaining, but why do you think these shows are working out so well?
Because it's real, and we have real conversations, and I think that's why I tuned in. To be fair, because
no. The 90 Day Fiancés and Love Is Blind and all those shows.
I love it when Simon come on in and look is priceless. Look, he's like, well, oh shit.
Like the 90 Day Fiancé, Love Is Blind, all those shows where it's kind of like you're forced to be with the person, and those marriages are actually working out. Why do you think that is?
I call them tabloid shows because I was in the media and I used to do shows myself. So I used to sort of work in TV and do that shit. So it's like, you know, you do the numbers, you do the figures, you get your cast and whatnot, and you know, it is
So
what it is.
basically, you're
Like,
saying they're fake.
So you think those people stay
no,
married?
it's not fake. If Carl came to me and said, "Look, I have a proposal. I want to do a film," we'd work that shit out, and it wouldn't be a thing of going, "Okay, we're gonna just put it out on YouTube." It would be a matter of actually sitting down and going, "Okay, how are we gonna make this work?" On a media tip, but you know, like we're in a different age, like right now. I mean, if we take it back 20 years, that's how it worked because there was no internet. So you'd actually figure that shit out. You'd know your numbers, statistics, demographics, you know.
That's wrong because back, if I remember correctly, 30, 40 years ago, we had that TV show called, what was the dating show?
The dating game.
Right, the dating game where they came out, asked a couple of questions, and you had to pick one.
Yeah.
Yeah, over here it was called Blind Date. It was called Blind Date.
There you go.
Oh, it was
We
called
had
a
that
damn
too.
dating game.
Yeah.
It was a
And they
dating
had-
game, and
They had the screen where there was 3 contestants on one side, and then
Yep,
they had,
the dating game.
And what we used to do in the production, behind the scenes, we had someone pull that screen back and forwards like manually, which people didn't see on the TV. So it's like, you know, it looked
Again,
like
that's besides the point. That's the part. The whole point of the question is, why do you think those marriages work? The people that get married on those shows.
I don't know any of those marriages that worked. I didn't say they did work.
You don't think those are?
Nah, the marriages. Some of
Those marriages are probably lasting a lot longer than regular world.
I don't think it's real at all, to be honest.
No, I didn't say they worked. I you know, that's fabrication.
Chris asked something.
Yeah.
I want to hear what Chris got to say. She don't say much.
Some of them worked. What's interesting is the ones that worked were the ones that went a little bit slower after the marriage. There's one couple in particular, the Black couple, and the woman, after they got married, she was like, let's just slow down, right? Even though we're married, let's take these 60 days to try and figure out who we are. You never met me before. We're complete strangers. And now they're still married. They have a baby together. And I think almost everyone else in their season end up getting divorced by the end of it.
What show?
Married at First Sight.
Okay.
Yeah. I think what makes it successful is that, number one, they're all in, right? There's equal risk almost on both sides, somewhat. There's no escaping. Even though you know that in those 60 days or 90 days, you can get, what's that A word?
Annulment.
You're still in those 90 days trying to make this work based on certain
Basic criteria there.
that the other person has met, right? You're attracted to them, they within your age range, whatever it may be. And so I think what basically helps them be successful is that they're all in from the beginning. The commitment has already been decided, right? And then 2, the ones that have survived past those 90 days, typically they were the ones that didn't have sex too soon, really tried to understand each other, tried to work things out with each other, and then eventually they were able to feel comfortable with each other. Because what's important I think a major issue that we see in dating now is that men don't understand women and women don't understand men, right? Men don't understand that women need that time to feel comfortable and feel safe and feel secure. That's why women typically say, I have to get to know you first. They did a study and they asked 3 questions. They said to men and women. To the men, they're like, would you go home with this woman, go have sex with this woman, or go on a date with her? 0% said the date. 70% said have sex with her. 30% said they'll go home with her. For the women, they asked the same questions. 0% of the women said no to sex. 30% said, yes, maybe I'll go home with him. 70% said yes to the date. Women need that time to feel comfortable and secure with a man before they're willing to go any further. I think the marriages that worked out kind of did all of that. They got the commitment and they got that security and comfort.
Did you see why the percentage of sex on the women's side was so high?
It was
So-
low. It was 0%. Women have more requirements for sex than men do. Men only have like 2 or 3 requirements. You have to be sexually attracted to them, and a woman has to say yes, pretty much. And you need a place.
And the women.
Women need sexual attraction, a yes. They also need a spike in estrogen. The spike of estrogen is driven by security, safety, and comfort. And once you get that spike in estrogen, then you get that spike in testosterone, which drives the sex drive.
Remember earlier when I said about keeping things simple and got to add in all this extra stuff? Because rather you fuck today, next week, next month, you're still going to get fucked. So all this extra grocery list for what?
I don't follow.
Okay. Just like we said before.
I guess because it sounds like you're talking about just sex, whereas the woman is looking for a long term. Like, how can I trust that this guy's going to stay around for the long haul?
Because he gives a fuck about you. Because you demonstrating that he gives a fuck about you. I heard, Carl.
You see where the doggy treat is being dangled?
What I'm saying is, women are still going to. We can know what we're showing and know that, like, listen, this is everything that I'm trying to portray to you, that I'm a good person, I'm a good option. She's still, if anything, the better the option, the more weird she's gonna be. She's like, is this actually real? Go ahead.
Listen, that's not what Carl. This is not what Carl is saying. That's not what he's saying.
Okay, yeah, maybe I misunderstood.
Okay, so listen. I'm gonna explain how I understand it, right? Carl, you help me if I'm wrong, right? You got to look at how the average man shows that he's a good option. It's money, right? Only. Believe it or not, women like to see what the fuck you do. They actually want to see action. They don't want to hear all that they don't want to hear all this. Because they're going to put you in a situation where you're going to have to back that shit up. If you keep flossing your money, you think I'm lying. Talk about money around a woman, right? And she want to know. Watch and see the next time you ask her where she want to go and see what the fuck she say.
There you go.
She want to see. She
How
want to
deep
see
the pocket
action.
are?
Fuck yeah.
Just say I want to take you to coffee to Dunkin' Donuts. Use Dunkin' Donuts, coffee and conversation, and watch how quick Starbucks come up.
Yeah, the point you're making.
She wants to see, but she wants action.
The point you're making is valid, but it's equivalent to people that win the national lottery. Like, you can put money in front of people, but unless they know what to do with it, they're going to be in a bit of trouble quick.
But that's not the point I was making. That's not the point I was making. The point I was making is
I understand the point you're making, but what I'm trying to say is, like, I'm just saying my point. So I'm just saying, like, it's the same with women and money. You need to bring resources, obviously, as a man. But if you're just bringing resources and you have no sort of content or context for yourself, it's a misdemeanor. It's like it becomes a problem. Like, you could bring a woman into your house and, you know, provide her with everything, and if she asks you a question, you don't know how to reply to it, then there's a problem. Obviously, you need to sort of have some sort of, you know, something else going on. Like, you can't just have money. Like, you have to have money, but you can't just have money.
Exactly.
So that's why I'm saying, like,
that's what
That's a lie.
like,
That's a lie too, because if a dude makes $150 a year, he's gonna get that pussy sooner and quicker than a guy making $20 grand a year. Because that dude that makes $20 grand a year, she's gonna tell his ass, you gotta wait 90 days. A chick ain't gonna tell no nigga making 150 grand a year, you gotta wait 90 days.
Listen, you got money, you could buy anything, right? You could buy stuff. You could buy whatever. You could buy the car. You could buy the hoe. You could buy the woman. You could buy the this or that. But in terms of like having something substantial, is like that's different. Like, so you need to have money, but at the same time, you need to have some sort of context. You can't sort of just, you know, or else it's just not going to last. you know, you see this every day. It plays out in our lives where you see celebrities and, you know, they get with people. Everyone's got money, right? So I've got this bag, you got that bag, whatnot. But at the same time, it's like, that doesn't really matter. It's like you start to live with the person and then you see what the context is. So, you know, on a ground level, if you're a guy and you're making like 200,000 or whatnot, and then you hook up with some chick that's working at McDonald's or something who's earning sort of like $9.50 an hour, it's like obviously they're gonna be that's just a completely different dynamic. But if you're trying to level up to someone and like I'm here and you're there, it's like, and I'm going somewhere, or I'm already there, and this is where we're at together, and this is where we're supposed to be. That's a different context, and it doesn't.
I'm glad.
I was following until you said all that stuff that you just said. Literally,
I was glad he brought up the celebrity thing real quick, because as a man, if you're dealing with somebody with money, let's say a Cardi B, Keisha Cole, whatever, you're gonna play along and go along. But when you're a man and a woman now, oh, you better hurry up, because you know he's the commodity. Do you understand the dynamics here? It's not a fair 50-50 equal thing here. You understand? I'm going by what Chris was saying. When it boils down to it, as men, we already know what we want, what we require, what we need, and so forth. All we asking is, are you down with it or not? Without the extra. Okay? When you come with the extra, it makes it confusing. It takes a long time. Men look at, like I said before, men look at time differently than women do. And sex too. You understand? You want it just, like you said, both sides want it just as much. But you want to take the local road and the men are on the highway. We're trying to get to a destination back. We don't have time to go sightseeing and detouring and all of that, because our time and our resources are valuable to us. And we also know how valuable it is in the long term. If we sitting around here playing 90-day rule and whatever, okay, don't mean I'm gonna be around.
I just think you gotta really accept. I think in this day and age, you gotta really accept the fact that it's never gonna be 50-50. Like, it's not that.
It wasn't designed that way in the first place, Simon.
Well,
I think if you're trying to have some level of sustainability, some level of sustainability with a woman, you can't be that rigid. That's what, because what you're saying sounds. I get your standards and I get your rules for sure. I do understand that and I agree with that. What I'm saying is, if you check all the boxes, but a woman still needs some amount of time that still fits into your time slot, then allow her that time.
Yeah, I think there's a misconception on women's desire for sex. The women wanting just as much sex as men only becomes true after she reaches that threshold of feeling comfortable with that man in particular. Men think about sex 2 times more than women do. Men masturbate more than women do. Men generally want sex more than women do. There are multiple studies that explain this. When the woman's in the relationship, in a secure relationship with a man, then their sex drives can be nearly equal. But this idea that initially running out the gate, women want sex just as much as men do, they don't even think about it as much as men do, and they typically can't even go as long.
Why they always bring it up first, Chris?
Longer without it. Why they always bring it up first? I think typically.
Why women bring up sex first before men do, generally when meeting them?
I think typically it's because that's what they think the men want, and that's how they're going to keep them. It's not really because that's what they want. Half the time, women sleep with men, and shortly after they regret it and wish that they had waited longer. Because what happens is they'll sleep with the man too soon, and he kind of disconnects emotionally from her because he kind of already got what he wanted, which is why that time is important, because you need that man to develop interest in you, genuine attraction, like High Value Nurse was saying, in you before you just sleep with him, because he may disconnect emotionally from you when he releases. I think
this is a huge argument. So like when you're talking about that time, what kind of time scale are you talking about in terms of how women think in regards to sex? Because we
sorry.
We have this whole discrepancy about that. I'm just interested.
It's not necessarily time; it's commitment and security. There are plenty of cultures where they get married after 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and the expectation that you're going to sleep with your husband on your wedding night, right? But the understanding that it's going to be on your wedding night, so it's a fair exchange. I'm going to get what I want. So I'm going to get my security, my safety, my provision, right? I'm going to get. I'm trying to think of the other word. I can't think of the other word right now. And you're going to get sex. Like that's the risk exchange, right? You're risking something by marrying me, and I'm risking something by sleeping with you. I'm risking getting pregnant by you. I could die during labor. Like that's where women risk their lives. Is in.
Why is it risk exchange? Risk exchange.
Well, like responsibility exchange, risk exchange. What of value, surface level value, are you giving up and kind of exchanging, right? So men are giving that provision. Like I'm basically your army. And the woman is saying, okay, I'm going to have sex with this thing that's valuable to me.
Yeah, I get that it's valuable.
Risk.
Why is it a risk?
It doesn't have to be risk in that sense. It's like I use the word risk. I compare it to like stock, right? The higher the price, the higher the risk. The higher the risk, higher the reward.
You're right. You're right all the way around. It is more risk on the woman's part.
Okay.
It is more risk on the woman's part.
Big time.
No doubt. There's way more risk on the woman's part.
So it's more risk in like a smaller time period, but over time.
Sure.
All right, cool. Why is it more risk on a woman's part when if ultimately the man is taking on the woman, and if anything happens to that woman, the man has the consequences of.
Or he could just leave. Or she could get pregnant and he could leave.
No. If you get married, you can't leave.
Yeah, you can. It's called a divorce.
Even in those look, I'm going through certain things. Even in those certain circumstances.
Okay, fine. Fair enough.
You're right. Okay, cool.
Fair enough. Go ahead.
I thought we was talking about.
I'm stuck. Hold on. Let me ask something because I want to make sure I'm not losing it. Chris, you're saying that as a transactional agreement, you be my wife, and as a reward for me making you my wife, I get sex from you. Why is it?
Sorry.
No, I'm just trying to understand why is it that it's easier saying something in a theory or in a fantasy or what have you. Why is the in-between time not discussed? Because you're actually telling a man that he is supposed to treat you XYZ for how long? You want him to invest in a maybe for how long until he says, I do. Does that make sense? Because I don't know no woman that would do no crap like that.
I don't understand. What's the maybe part?
The maybe. Maybe you'll say yes, maybe you won't say no. But in the meanwhile, I'm going to invest my resources, time, and effort into you, hoping that you say I do. And that's when you decide to give me sex. And I don't even know if you're good in bed.
I see what you're saying. So that's a more Western way of thinking about it. So here the idea of marriage is kind of drawn out. But that's why I said, there are cultures where it's like 6 weeks, 8 weeks. It's a much shorter amount of time, and the conversations are between the families. So it's really hard to transfer that way of thinking to American culture. But I'm just talking about the general negotiation that happens on the day of the marriage is fairly clear in the sense that the woman's getting what she wants and truly desires, which is the security, and the man's getting what he wants, which is the sex. And that's the surface level
and the legacy
of the exchange. It's that's in a sense currency. And it's I'm generalizing it.
That's why I'm asking you, because sex cannot be a currency if it's 10 to 14 women to every one man. It's not a commodity.
But
I mean, that's typically why Sorry, Chris. Go ahead.
You're exchanging the one thing that you could give to a woman, right? You can only have, assuming you can only have one wife, right? That's precious to you, right? So you're going to assign that one valuable title to one person, right? And she's going to assign assuming she's a virgin, one valuable thing to you, which is her body. It's very surface level, ideal world, just to make things simple, right? Statistics, keeping all other variables constant. We're focused on only these variables. So of course there are other things that we can throw in there. If I'm saying the basic appreciation, that's what's happening, and that's what kind of checks those boxes. And I think that's why the idea of marriage made so much sense. You get the commitment, that's off the table. There's a clearness in that you guys will be having sex that night.
Well, then that's a lost cause then, because you already see that most people already have, like I said, 70% of single mothers out here, and virginity, forget about it. So, I
was keeping all variables constant, obviously.
Let's hit high value nurse. CJ, if he's still there, my man. Did he just step away? Dang.
Yeah, I'm here. I just had to go. I wanted to go to a quieter room real quick. So just give me like 2 minutes. Give me 2 minutes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm not, even as a man, I'm not against the whole waiting thing, and that's just because when you start like introducing sex into a relationship, it changes the dynamics.
Yes.
And sometimes your mind is clouded as far as like you start to overlook a lot of shit.
A lot.
Red flags be up like a motherfucker, but you just miss them. You just stroll right by them.
They're just flags.
They just flags.
They're flags.
They just flags. And
she's so festive.
And it could as a man, it could make you could end up making a pretty poor choice. And a woman, because it's just you start thinking with the wrong head. You can be as logical as you want to be, but when that motherfucker down there go to thinking for you, boy, it's only one thing that makes sense to him, and that's her.
CJ, what's up, bro?
What up?
Man, how you been?
Grinding, bro. How y'all doing?
Hey, where you been? Where you been?
I'm working, bro. I'm working. I wish I could be on YouTube more, man, but I just, it is what it is. Shout out to the recession that's on the way. But anyway,
man.
Shit, we're in the middle of that motherfucker.
I've been listening to the conversation, and I think a lot of y'all have brought up good points. In my opinion, and I may be a little bit further back behind from what y'all talking about currently, but in my opinion, I think a lot of modern day men are frustrated with women because a lot of them are not having the sex with the women that they really want to have it with. We have this whole discussion about money and value and all that kind of stuff, but here's the thing that they forgot to tell you. A lot of people got so caught up in the high value man movement and all that kind of stuff and six figures and money and all that. But if that woman is not sexually attracted to you, it means absolutely nothing. If she doesn't have a genuine attraction for you, it means nothing. Just like that comment I put, it is beautiful women that are with broke men and that will go to hell and high water for those broke men. But that woman is attracted to them genuinely. Now, later on, of course, resources come into play. You need resources to sustain your life, your well-being, her well-being, if you choose to take care of a woman. But the problem is a lot of guys with dealing with today's modern day woman, it's not about money no more. It's really not. I mean, it's about money, but it really isn't, because they can make their own money. They've said this. Feminism has brought that into play. They make their own money. If this woman, you got to be attractive to her. You know what I'm saying? And whatever she considers attractive. But she just has to have genuine, real attraction for you. That is why men are frustrated. And that is why so many men were upset with Lori Harvey. Because they look at Michael B. Jordan as super nigga. A very attractive guy, millions of dollars, very successful. but could not keep a woman like her. Why? Because she just wasn't attracted to him. Point blank, period. It's
Or
not
that,
all about money and money all the time.
Or that chick that the one that was on the dating show, the one that turned down the what was he?
The nuclear physicist.
The nuclear physicist. Yes. Yeah, the one that turned that down and everyone lost their minds.
Yo, that was the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
And she was like, yo, he was boring. Like he was boring.
But see, men want women to think like men. A lot of women don't think like that, at least until they're older. When you're dealing with young women, young modern women, they don't care about how much or what this dude was boring. He didn't excite her. And that's the thing. These dudes can go out here and make $100,000 a year, but have no idea how to attract women or talk to women or have a conversation with a woman at all. All they can do is, I got $100,000. You need to open it wide for me. Well, that just makes you a trick, sir. Go buy you a prostitute and have a good day.
And in her case, it was all about, like I said before, chasing convenience and not quality. Because had she know what stability this brother brings, she would have changed her mind had she been mature enough to know better. But guess what? After she have her 1 or 2 kids, baby daddy, and all the issues, when she gets to 35, 40, 45, she's gonna wish she had that motherfucker.
But my thing is, who cares? Why are men constantly going for the women that don't want them?
That's been the cycle for the longest. That's been the cycle for the longest. The people that men and women want don't want them, and the ones that is always in their face are the people they don't want.
Well, then they need to find a new circle, because I don't want to be with no woman that don't want to be with me. That's crazy talk. Why would I even want to be in the presence of a woman who really don't want me? And that's why these dudes are so mad. Y'all out here, not y'all, but I'm saying it's dudes on the internet, this red pill shit. They out here chasing hood rats, girls who didn't come up with no good outbringing. They just see she got a fat ass and can probably do some mean head and all that kind of stuff. And you chasing these broads. They don't want you. You not they type. You don't get them wet. Like, bro, like what? Why are we still? Not me, but why are they still mad over women who don't? It's 7 billion women or 3 billion women on the planet. Find some that want you. But they study worried about women who don't want them, and then want to get on the internet and complain. Oh, well, 20 years she gonna have 3 kids by this. So what? Who cares?
Facts.
I'm not worried about that. I'm just worried about the ones who want me and want to deal with me.
And I mean,
that's the problem.
It's same for the women too, though. The women making fictional characters that don't want them.
And who cares?
I think the women.
I just focus on the one that I know want me.
I think the women's is a lot more rooted in trauma, though. I think the men's is rooted in what they observe, and I think the woman's is rooted in trauma. Like a man she dealt with that treated her that way, and she blanket state that as all men.
Relationship PTSD.
Yeah,
correct.
But me,
I don't want no.
I think a lot more women.
But men do that too.
Yeah,
men come into a relationship because of their trauma as well.
I'm not saying men don't come in with trauma. I'm saying the men that are out here complaining versus the women that are out here complaining. The women are complaining from trauma, from an old relationship, and the men are complaining from what they're just seeing. They're not actually experiencing anything. They're just seeing it and complaining about it.
It's a frustration because, again, when you're brought up around family members that's married 20, 30, 40 years, when you're brought up in an era where people went out on dates, and when you took a woman out on a date, you was the only motherfucker she was dating. We're talking about eras where you came over to the crib, then picked her up and saw which, you know how many dudes is dating chick for 6 months or more and never been inside the house? You don't even know how she lives. But you're taking her out, spending money on her like she deserves it, but you don't know that. And like I said before last week, regardless if we want to discuss it, acknowledge it or not, you have a small number of dudes out here that's going out with chicks that are not chicks. And they don't find out till later. And soon, the way this thing just turned around last month, Women gonna go out with dudes and find out the dudes got the same thing they got. We got problems, whether you want to see it or not.
That's an interesting point.
Ain't no we. Ain't no we. Hell no.
No, when I say we, not us per se as adults, the children behind us. That's the people we're not thinking about. That's not the people we're considering. And I keep telling a lot of adults, a lot of them don't give a fuck about these kids. You know how many kids right now don't even have life insurance?
Well, I can't really speak on that. I don't have no kids.
There's a lot of adults that don't have that. So
yeah, and
it's right. That's right. That's right.
I mean,
I mean, it's got that. What the point you brought up earlier was kind of interesting in the fact that every female I dealt with wants to speak to me about their ex. Like, and I don't do like even if I'm dating. Well, I don't date, but it's just like just interacting with people. Like when I'm speaking to a female, they always want to talk to me about their exes, like their experiences in like. That's not really the first thing I'd come to a female with as a man. I'm not going to walk up to them and go, look, do you want to hear about my ex? Do you want to hear about my experience that I had in my previous relationship?
That's what I was saying to Chris earlier about teaching a woman how to get and keep a good man. That's not our job to play Dr. Phil. We're not here to teach you how to get us and maintain us. You should have a dad, a brother, uncle, your mother, to already have put that in you. Why you wait till you're 25, 30, 40, how many kids later, whatever, and you expect me to teach you, be patient, and you should already came with some sort of basic foundation ready for this responsibility. Call a relationship.
Yeah. But why are these dudes dealing with women with multiple children and all this trauma? Why? Why are they dealing with them?
They don't know they're out there.
No, they're out there. They're out there.
You don't have to deal with them, though.
But they don't because they don't know their own worth.
Hold up. I think Chris wanted to respond back to that.
I was just saying, I think Miss Ty broke it down. I think she broke down what it meant by teaching. I think it's not that you're teaching someone how to be a wife. It's just that you're helping them understand how they can be a better wife to you as a man. Like, it's that customization idea. I think we already broke that down.
Yeah, but he's saying he's thinking about a woman who don't even have a fucking foundation. That only works for a woman who has a basic foundation and understanding of how to be a wife.
And that woman doesn't meet your requirements, so you just deselect her.
Yeah, so you deselect.
That's simple.
So
there's a lot to deselect, though. That's the problem. It's like, it's like, wow, whether they've had children or not, like they still come to you like with some sort of
entitlement.
Something. It's just like
for the most part, yeah.
So I got
expectation and entitlement.
I'm trying to come to you like I'm talking like if I'm coming to like a woman, I'm saying, look, we can do stuff. Like I've got stuff we can build. We can, I've got my resources. But yet, even if I provide you with all of that, like a year, 2 years down the line, you're always gonna bring up, oh yeah, I had this ex, I had this problem. This is why I'm feeling this way. It escalates and causes traumatic experiences in the relationship in the future, for which you didn't deal with in the past. That I think a lot of men have problems with, because it's like we're coming to you as a fresh face, but yet you are not able to actually.
We're not qualified to be Dr. Phil's.
Right. So how do you can't get away from that stuff?
Yeah, you can.
No, not you personally, doctor. I'm talking about females.
How do you address it? And how do you address it when a woman does it? How do you address her?
I've just got to be the person that I am and roll with it, because you can't address it. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not about to sort of diagnose.
Me neither.
So at the end of the day, it's like, okay, I'll give you an example. 2 exes away, she would say, oh, she went through this traumatic experience with her ex. And I'm like, why are you telling me that? like, I'm not really interested because it's like I got with you at this point, at this timeline. Now you're talking to me about a timeline that took place in a prior world that I'm not.
Did you tell her that?
Partial to. Of course, yeah, but she can't get away from it. She couldn't get away from it herself personally.
But
Like,
you told her, but you made her aware that you didn't want to talk about no other dude.
I didn't, but she look, women's imprint is different. Like it's like
no, it's not different, man. It's about what I'm gonna give you some good and solid advice, and I wish you would listen to it. You probably won't, but I'm gonna give you some really good, solid advice, right? Until you start knowing what your value is and what your worth is, and stop putting a woman on a fucking pedestal when you first meet her, they gonna run all over your ass every fucking time, and they gonna talk to you like you put your ass in the friend zone quick because you ain't standing up. If a chick come at me and she talking about, hey, so look, hey, Shawty, I ain't come here to talk about no other nigga, and don't ever bring up another dude around me again. I'm not gonna bring up another woman around you. Don't bring up another dude around me. Listen, good on that? Are we good on that? And they gonna either say yes or they gonna say no. And if they say no,
you know what the problem is? You know what the problem is? Too many dudes are focusing on too much what women think and how much they care, and that turns a woman off. Completely. When you start focusing on yourself and you grinding and you working, she gonna do everything she can to be a part of your world.
Exactly.
Especially if she knows that you're building something and you own something good. Ain't no man that's grinding and building himself up gonna talk to no woman about no other dude, and she should have enough respect not to even bring that up to him because he's busy, he's grinding. What the fuck?
Time to hear my damn problems.
I am not your emotional tampon when it comes to another man. That's crazy.
She gotta look at you as the prize. You understand? She gotta look at you as
the emotional tampon. I love it.
Yeah, I respect that. That's cool. But what I'm saying is, look, if there's a woman that you that is like the woman for you,
she's
that's
not
the woman. Wait, give me a second, please. Like,
okay,
right? There's a difference. There are general women. There's a whole population of women out there, but then you may come across a woman and you're like, I want that woman. That's the woman for me. Like. The thing is, it's like you may encounter her and then you will understand that she's got this other stuff going on.
Okay.
But you're still like, that's the woman for me.
No,
so
the fuck it ain't.
No.
Hold it. Men encounter this stuff. Men do this stuff. They're like,
Wait, let him finish explaining his point.
I'll give you a short example. Let's say I'm just gonna be like, I don't want to put you on the spot, Blooming, but let's say I wanted Blooming Ebony, right? And I was like, she's the woman for me. Like, that's the woman I want. I'm like, I'll do anything to get her. I'm gonna chase her, I'm gonna run her down, I'm gonna come down the house, I'm gonna do like Romeo and Juliet, throw flowers at her window, to get what I'm saying, and sing and get a violin. To get what I'm saying, I'm gonna do everything.
We got strong stalker laws in the United States. Let me tell you.
Right. Men do that. Men do that. Men do that shit. They'll get focused in on a woman and it'll be like, that's the woman for me. So the problem is, it's like turning around and going, look, you can't treat women like this. Like, you can't do this sort of stuff. It's like, we understand that to an extent, but it's just like, that doesn't work for most men because most men ain't in those spaces. They don't have those sorts of conversations and they don't have that sort of support. So the thing is,
I get what you're saying. I get what Simon's saying.
I'm trying to follow it. I'm not getting lit because I'm
that's called one-itis.
It's not real.
That is a classic version of one-itis. And what I'm saying is that when you, and that's like most women, that turns them off. We get so caught up in this Disney World ass fantasy that's not real.
Exactly.
Flowers and all that kind of stuff. That's cool for a woman who's earned that. Y'all dudes ready to do that on the first date. The first time you meet her, you ready to give her a ring, and she has done nothing to earn it. That's why she don't respect you, because you giving her the red carpet treatment, and she didn't even have to work for it.
And you know what they say when they get with niggas like I be cool with a lot of them girls that come back and talk about niggas like that.
Yes.
All right. So
guess what?
Look,
Simon, hold on, Simon. Go ahead, John.
if them girls come back and they say shit like, if I was like this, I could use this nigga. He gonna be too much for me, John. Like he doing this, he doing that. You think I ought to give him a shot? And you know what I say? Like, fuck no. Because you're gonna walk all over him and break that man. Right now, he ain't broken. But maybe he is broken, but you gonna break his ass. Like you gonna break his soul, his fucking spirit. This nigga might end up liking niggas after you. Don't do that.
And
Just
now
take
he's
that
a stalker.
man, friends, and let it go. And don't do him like that. Like, man, he sent me this, he did. But it's one thing, right? It's one thing to. So let me give you an example of something that could be kind of sexy, right? You never made contact with this woman, but when you made contact with this woman, y'all seen each other in passing, but she kind of gave you the eye, but you know where she work or whatever, and you sent her maybe like a flower, something nice, with a secret admirer on there, or even you a little bolder. I'm a little bolder. I'll put my number on there and say, put my name on there and say, I would love to see your facial reaction in person. How about dinner tomorrow night? I would do something like that, right? That's different. That's completely different. That's gonna make her curious. That's just fucking different. And I was assertive.
That's forward.
That was way fucking different, right? Then a nigga who's like, look, I like you so much, you like the best thing. I've never fucking met anybody like you before in my life.
I got a limo waiting for us right outside.
Forever, man. Look, I'll do what I gotta do. Nigga, if she liked your motherfucking ass, you wouldn't have to do all that talking. Y'all niggas would be back and forth like this. You know what I'm saying? Like it'll be a little bit from her, a little bit from you, a little bit from her, a little bit from you, then a whole lot of this right here. Not, oh, I love you, you love bumming the shit out this woman, man. Come on, that shit is a turn off.
Can I add something?
I guess you
Go ahead, CJ.
One thing I found out is that the internet is the world of cap. A lot of people lie. Women lie, men lie. All this, he got to spend this amount of money on a first date. That's bullshit. If a woman really, we was at the carnival the other day, a free carnival, and I seen beautiful women with men that they had general attraction to just as happy on their arm, all that kind of stuff. The internet, all this high value shit is cool, but it has warped a lot of these dudes' brains, bro.
Big facts.
And then like on top of that, like what Simon was saying, Simon, you gotta focus on yourself. You gotta I ain't trying to lecture, but I'm just saying, like any dude who may feel like that, you have to love yourself more than that woman. Because if you putting all that on her, that's gonna put pressure on her. Like, damn, like why are you doing so much? Like, what about you?
Scare her the fuck away.
You gotta.
I was talking generally, bro.
Okay, and that's cool, but what you was describing was one itis. Yeah, you saying it's the one from you saying you just met this chick and you know she's the one. How? She hasn't even proven herself. How do you know? Because she fine.
30-day marriage.
That's all you know.
No.
I got a question. I got a question for you though. I got a question for the panel because I've asked this before. Do y'all feel that a woman should earn a quality man, or do you think she's entitled to a quality man for whatever reason?
It's an obvious answer.
Right. But now we're going to go back into reality. In surroundings, realistically, do you see that demonstrated? Do you see the energy that women are demonstrating that men are something that we need to earn? My take on it, I see more women that think men are an option, not a necessity. So therefore, I ask that question to the panel.
I agree that a lot of women think men are options.
I disagree.
I agree with that one. I think a lot of women move with the idea that men are optional. But they're not really sure how to secure and hold a man or get him to stay. So that's why they look at him as an option.
I'll tell you
'Cause
why.
it's easier to hold their ego.
I wanted to answer the question before I go because I gotta go.
I was going to close out the panel pretty soon. We went way past what I expected, but it was fun.
For Carl, I believe that of course, the obvious answer is that men, you know, what you should feel like it should be earned. However, when you start dating, you have to be in good headspace. You understand what I'm saying? If you're not in good headspace, and when I say good headspace, I mean you cannot still be, and this comes from introspection. You can deny it, but you lying to your fucking self. If I was to sit back and observe you, I would know real quick that you have some rollover, leftover trauma that you're not addressing, right? So, and until you address that, you're never going to see yourself as the prize. I know, I've been there, done that. And I kept picking the same bonehead ass girl type for over and over. That's why I got 3 boys and 3 different baby mamas. But all the fucking baby mamas has got the same fucking thing in common, down to drug of choice. All of them. Because that was on me. You understand? That was because how I was seeing myself. I didn't see no value in me. I was afraid of a woman that's going to challenge me intellectually, financially, and otherwise. But when I took a break from women, period, and stayed single up until I got with somebody else, and I was ready to get with somebody, and I was in right headspace, that's when I came up with my fucking demands. That's when I came up with what the fuck, nigga? I'm that dude. I'm that nigga. I ain't got to fucking put up with anything. You either meet this or you don't meet this. And if you don't, keep it pushing.
No, I agree with that 1,000%. I agree with that.
But you got to be in good headspace to understand that you are the fucking catch. There's more fucking women than there are men, and you are not a motherfucking option. That's
no, I know that.
Chevy, right? That's just like saying a fucking 57 Chevy is an option. No, the fuck it ain't, nigga. That shit's rare as fuck. You can't find it. So if you already know every nigga ain't a good nigga, and only top 1% make a certain amount of fucking money, which is gonna be which is gonna lead to that security that you're looking for.
A commodity.
And you in that top 1% as an earner, and you in good headspace. How in the fuck are you an option? You're not an option, nigga. You a rarity. You the unicorn, nigga. You Bigfoot.
Damn right.
So stop treating motherfucking bitches like they goddamn they unicorns and they Bigfoot. No, nigga. Go get a passport. Hit the motherfucking airport. Don't look back until you come back married, nigga. Fuck the women in your city. Fuck the women in your state. Fuck the women in your country.
I said that. I agree. I agree.
Finish out, John. Finish out.
All right.
And on that note,
I was bad. Okay.
You can find me at behavioral _consultant on IG. Here mainly on CKQ podcast. Don't even worry about going to the YouTube. Those videos are there if you want to learn how to trade. Go watch some of the ones. Those are the basic ones, and you'll be able to follow from there. But you're gonna find me here every damn Tuesday at 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern on CKQ Podcast. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share.
I like that. That was good. We got Chris.
Hey.
I'm Chris. Sorry, I didn't lose my voice this late. It's getting late. But you can find me on YouTube. I do have a YouTube channel. I haven't been over there in a while, but I do plan to come back after my exam. So you can find me there at The Blooming Ebony and also on Instagram at The Blooming Ebony. And you can message me on there, send me videos. When I do come back and do reactions, I will probably do reactions to lots of videos I've been getting. So send me DMs with any videos you want me to look at and maybe do analysis too. I would love to. And in the meantime, you can catch me here on Tuesdays on CKQ Podcast. Hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next week. Happy blooming.
Meek is the night.
A multitasker.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm tired.
Nah, you good. You good. Talk to us.
I don't even have an end note, but I wanted to say watch CKQ, subscribe, like, hit the channel.
Put this on the charger for.
Oh, huh?
No,
okay.
no.
So go to 3 Married Ladies Opinions, Facebook, Instagram, Married Ladies Opinions, Twitter, and you'll see CKQ on there too as well on Tuesdays, and you might see some other shows on there as well. It has been a pleasure as always, and I am multitasking, like you said. It wasn't in vain because the people that I was doing research for actually mentioned me in their little segment.
That's what I like to hear.
So I was doing some more just now because she's doing a different topic. So I'm happy about that part. But thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Got Simon.
Hey, you can catch me on Instagram mainly at Simon_Hectic. My main channel I pulled down. We're going to be starting something new called Sex and Lemonade, which you'll probably hear about. Peace to CKQ. Thanks for having me up. I appreciate you. I appreciate the panel. And I appreciate the thankful and thoughtful conversation.
We got Carl.
Carl Schaff on Instagram, aka Mr. Controversy. Basically, you only live once, so please value your time more than anything else. And, I'm still working on my book, 4 subdivisions of men, 9 subdivisions of women. So hopefully we can have more conversation and save the world one black person at a time. Peace.
And last but not least, we got CJ, the high value nurse.
What up, y'all? I'm CJ, aka the High Value Nurse. Shout out to CKQ Podcast. Y'all make sure y'all go subscribe to that. Just real quick, fellas, please, y'all have to go out here and make yourself the prize for real in all aspects. In every area, it's not just one. You know what I'm saying? You just have to become a demigod. And once you do that, I really believe your life problems will become easier. You know what I'm saying? You can't just focus on one area. You have to just literally become a demigod amongst men out here, because everything has a price. You're going to have to pay the price for the best. So that's all I had to say, y'all. Y'all have a good night.
And on that note, it has been a great show and a great night of great conversations, back and forths. But a lot of good knowledge was dropped on everyone's side. Just a reminder, for the next 2 weeks, we're going to be no show for the next 2 weeks. Okay? Yeah, we're on a little hiatus. You guys weren't here in the beginning. If you weren't here in the beginning, you might have missed that part. This was our last show.
What?
Till the next 2 weeks, and then we're coming back. All right?
No, I don't want an idea. Am I going to be on Tuesday?
So much for the memo.
What I'm gonna do next Tuesday? I don't know.
Listen, you have your whole night ahead of you.
Go fishing, go to the gun range, read a book.
You can go to a singles mixer, all right, with all the other ladies.
Oh my God. Oh shoot.
But on that note, ladies and gentlemen, has been a fantastic show. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you back again in 2 weeks. Good night.
Yes, sir.
If we're doing everything right, I think we should be vetting our wives. Like go to their parents, go to their father.
They know they shouldn't have let me start speaking my mind in the booth. Start speaking the truth. Might get shocked.
I think you're just saying, okay, actions have consequences, and I'm not going to support this person's actions. Like, you don't have to cancel them and say, like, I hate you.
Innocent lives have to die.
But the whole thing is men are I also. That man was on the other side doing the exact same thing, and his decision with his eyes was to walk away.
Inside your soul.
Now we could paint the perfect picture without belittling each other, because under God's system,
we are equipped to handle that responsibility, but not every man is fit to handle that responsibility.
I done seen flip Michigan
And it's just being
cities. They pissing in project buildings that got a roof that leaks, resulting in missing ceilings. Hard to sleep. Children going to schools dealing issues deep.
So I think society does make it more difficult for short men, but I don't think that it's impossible that they can find someone.
And expecting you to do your part. It ain't hard to see they trying to keep black in the back, just like Rosa Parks. Cops shooting blacks as if they get a token from God. School rob you with needed resources.
Is the weaker vessel and the more vulnerable
Absolutely.
vessel.
100%.
You don't look at the man like, oh, poor son, you were violated. No, you like, right.
And nobody.
They shift my stick like some cars. And when you're lonely in your darkest thoughts, come, I know it's hard, but God shines his light on all I play their part. And it's the start.
Put myself in a situation where I can only rely on a man. Like if I'm married and being a stay-at-home mom, I need to have a backup in case anything happens. I can't only rely on him. You know what I'm saying?
A flower will grow once you plant the seed inside your soul.
Poet, and the best part of me shows it. Here to speak the message of what is known, but not what it takes to expose it. Listen closer as I take you on a mental path. See divisions, the math, hoping we clash on lower levels, just like in the past. Before we begin to see spared lives, keep in mind the first 3 letters of unity starts with you and I. And maybe then we can all thrive, changing the narratives of our lives, finding belief from inside. We gotta come together, different feathers, and we fly together despite any weather, evolving up forward just like propellers, using negatives to fuel positives. How we change the mark, just like taking the devil's flames just to warm the coldest heart. Mama knew it from the start. DC mode would be a spark to lead the light that works its way out, illuminating through the dark. Funny cause my skin is dark despite the stereotypes